What if some ancient artifacts could rewrite everything we thought we knew about history? Tonight, we're uncovering strange carvings, mysterious skulls, vanished colors, and hidden secrets from around the world, artifacts that don't quite fit the story we've been told. From eerie stone carvings in England and elephant engravings deep in a French forest, to the lost colors of China's Terracotta Army and Viking ships buried beneath Norwegian fields, these discoveries challenge history's boundaries. If you want to explore these incredible mysteries with me, make sure to subscribe, then let's begin this slow journey into the past. Horned carvings of Nesscliffe Hill, England. In the heart of England, where the rolling hills stretch gently beneath soft skies, lies a place that seems ordinary at first. Nesscliffe Hill, a quiet spot near Shrewsbury, where the wind moves softly through grass and the earth holds memories older than we can imagine. Here, beneath the surface of time itself, are carvings. Simple yet mysterious marks etched into the stone, waiting patiently for us to discover them, to wonder, and to dream. These ancient carvings, uncovered just recently in the summer of 2022, speak to a past that is both close and yet so very distant. They are lines and circles arranged in patterns that seem to hint at human shapes. Some appear to have what could be described as horns, curved lines rising above their heads, like crowns fashioned from stone. It is as if these figures wear something sacred, something deeply meaningful. The age of these carvings stretches far beyond the hill fort that once stood on this very land. The fort was a stronghold used by Iron Age tribes, and later by Romans, who walked this earth centuries ago. But these carvings are older still, likely made during the Bronze Age, a time when people were learning new ways to live, to create, and to express themselves. Imagine the hands of those ancient artists, the steady tapping of a tool against stone, a rhythm carried through time. They worked with purpose, carving images that might have been a message, a ritual, or perhaps a story. What did these horned figures mean to them? Were they gods, spirits, or symbolic ancestors? The horned motif connects intriguingly with the Celtic tribe known as the Cornoviae, whose name means the horned ones. Could these carvings be their earliest mark? Perhaps they were a symbol of identity, a way to claim this land, or a sacred emblem worn by those who lived here. As we breathe in the quiet of Nesscliffe Hill, it's easy to feel the passage of time slow down. The world today moves fast, but these stones have waited through millennia, untouched by modern rush, whispering secrets only to those patient enough to listen. The Bronze Age itself was a time of transformation. People began shaping metals, building new homes, and growing crops in ways that would shape history. Yet, many of their stories remain locked away, hidden behind symbols like the horned carvings. These marks may hold the key to understanding their beliefs, their lives, and their connection to the earth. Nearby, the hill fort rises as a reminder of later times. Iron Age warriors made their home here, defending the land from invaders. The Romans followed, bringing with them new customs and architecture, leaving their own imprint on the landscape. But through all these changes, the ancient carvings endured, quietly guarding their mysteries. As evening falls over the hill, the soft glow of the setting sun casts long shadows over the stones. It's easy to imagine the first light touching these carvings, thousands of years ago, welcoming the new day, just as it does now. Each line and circle is a bridge across time, linking us to those who came before. What stories might they tell? If only we could understand their language. The symbols remain a puzzle. Some shapes resemble humans, others are more abstract. The truth may be forever out of reach, but the curiosity they inspire invites us to keep wondering. The act of carving into stone was a powerful statement. In a world without paper or screens, these marks were permanent, a way to make a thought or belief last beyond a lifetime. Perhaps these horned figures were meant to protect the land, to honor the spirits, or to mark a sacred place known only to the ancient people. When you walk among these stones, you step into a story that stretches back through the ages. The wind carries echoes of voices long silent, and the earth holds the weight of countless footsteps. It is a place where past and present meet, where mystery lives in every grain of stone. The surrounding landscape, too, holds clues to the lives once lived here. Forests, rivers, and fields shaped the days of those ancient communities. They hunted, they gathered, they built homes and carved their beliefs into stone, leaving behind a legacy both tangible and elusive. Some researchers suggest that the horned figures could be linked to rituals, perhaps celebrations of fertility, seasons, or ancestral spirits. Others see them as symbols of power or identity. Whatever their true meaning, the carvings remind us of the complexity and richness of ancient human culture. Over the years, the hill has changed. Trees have grown and fallen, weather has worn the stones, and human hands have come and gone. Yet, through it all, the carvings remain. A quiet testament to the enduring human desire to express, to connect, and to be remembered. As night settles over Nesscliff Hill, the stars begin to twinkle above. Perhaps the ancient carvers looked up at these same stars, seeing stories and patterns in the sky just as they did on the stones. Maybe their carvings were part of a larger cosmic language, a way to link earth and sky, life and spirit. In this peaceful moment, we can close our eyes and imagine the world as it was. Soft sounds of nature, flickering fires, and shadows dancing on cave walls. The carvings are like whispers from that world, inviting us to dream, to explore, and to rest. And so, as you listen, feel your breath slow, your mind quiet, and your body relax. Let Nesscliff Hill carry you gently into a place of calm, where history and mystery blend into a soothing story told by stone and time. Elephant carvings in a French forest, Fontainebleau, France. A place where sunlight filters softly through the leaves, and the air is thick with the scent of moss and earth. There lies a secret carved not into books or tablets, but into stone itself, quiet reminders of a world long vanished. Here in the shadows of towering trees, and beneath the canopy that has sheltered countless creatures over centuries, archaeologists discovered something astonishing, a series of carvings etched into rocks and boulders, hidden away in places so narrow and remote. It's almost as if the ancient artists wanted their work to be found only by the most patient and observant wanderers. Among these carvings are images of human faces, weathered yet still full of expression, but what truly captures the imagination are the depictions of animals. And not just any animals, but elephants. Large, majestic creatures that have never been native to France, certainly not for the last 1,000 years or more. This curious fact raises a gentle question. How did the people who carved these stones know what elephants looked like? And why would they choose to immortalize such exotic animals in a forest so far from where elephants roam today? One could imagine, in the soft hush of the forest, the hands of ancient carvers tracing the outlines of these creatures, their tools tapping lightly against stone, shaping the trunks, the ears, the mighty tusks, capturing the essence of animals that would have been utterly foreign in this land. Elephants are creatures that symbolize strength, memory, and wisdom in many cultures. But what stories did they hold for the people of Fontainebleau? Were these images passed down through generations, perhaps inspired by travelers' tales, ancient migrations, or even by the fossils and bones buried deep beneath the earth? The forest itself is a curious place. It has been home to many civilizations, each leaving their marks in subtle ways. The carvings speak of a time when human imagination reached beyond the immediate world, embracing distant lands and creatures that seemed almost mythical. Some carvings are found in narrow caves, spaces so tight that it's difficult for a person to stand upright. This raises another gentle mystery. Why place art where few could easily reach? Perhaps these were sacred spots, meant for rituals or secret ceremonies, spaces where the physical and spiritual worlds intertwined. The carving style and execution suggest they were made by skilled hands, people who understood not only the animals they depicted, but also the power of images to connect, to remember, and to communicate across time. It's easy to get lost in thought here, imagining the stories told around flickering fires, stories of distant lands where elephants roamed freely, inspiring awe and wonder. Perhaps these stories traveled across continents and seas, carried by merchants, nomads, or wandering tribes, eventually inspiring the carvings in this quiet French forest. The mystery deepens when we consider that elephants had vanished from much of Europe long before these carvings were made. Fossil records show that during the last ice age, ancestors of modern elephants once wandered parts of Europe, but those creatures disappeared tens of thousands of years ago. Could these carvings be echoes of a collective memory, handed down through countless generations? Or were they inspired by something else, perhaps even by encounters with exotic animals brought to Europe during ancient trade expeditions? The forest of Fontainebleau is also rich in other archaeological curiosities, symbols and shapes that remain undeciphered, challenging scholars to piece together their meanings. Each carved rock is like a page from a forgotten book, waiting for the right reader to unlock its secrets. As twilight falls, the forest grows quiet. The carvings seem to glow softly in the dim light, as if inviting us to sit and reflect, to connect with a past that is both distant and strangely close. In this stillness, we can almost hear the whispers of those ancient artists, their hands busy at work, their hearts filled with stories they wish to preserve. Their art is a bridge across time, a gentle invitation to pause and wonder. The mystery of the elephant carvings reminds us that history is not always straightforward. Sometimes it is a winding path through shadow and light, filled with questions that may never be fully answered. And yet, in those questions lies a special kind of beauty, the beauty of curiosity, of imagination, and of the quiet moments when we let ourselves dream about the distant past. So as you listen, breathe slowly, and let your mind drift through the forest, past the carved stones, and into the stories that have waited so long to be heard. Let the calm of the forest wrap around you like a soft blanket, and feel the gentle pull of history weaving its way into your thoughts, lulling you into a peaceful, restful place. The vanishing colors of the Terracotta Army. In the quiet fields just outside the ancient city of Xi'an, China, the earth holds a secret. Beneath the soil, thousands of silent soldiers lie waiting. These are no ordinary soldiers. They are the Terracotta Army, standing guard over the tomb of Qin Shi Huang, the very first emperor of a unified China. Discovered in 1974, this army stunned the world. The farmers who unearthed these figures had no idea what they were about to reveal. What seemed at first to be mere broken pottery soon revealed itself to be an entire army of life-size statues, each unique, each detailed, and each painted in colors so vivid they seemed almost alive. But there was a secret hidden in those colors, a secret about time and memory, about how the past slips quietly away if we are not careful to hold it close. Let's begin at the beginning, with the emperor himself. Qin Shi Huang ruled over China more than 2,000 years ago, from 2021 to 210 BCE. He was a man of great ambition and power, the first to unify the many warring states into a single empire. His vision stretched far beyond his lifetime. He sought immortality, to rule not just in this life, but in the next. To protect him beyond death, he commissioned an army, a vast legion of soldiers, horses and chariots, all made of terracotta, or baked clay. These statues were meant to stand guard over his tomb, to fight alongside him in the afterlife. The Terracotta Army is staggering in scale. Archaeologists estimate there were over 8,000 soldiers along with 670 horses and 130 chariots. Each soldier is unique, different facial expressions, hairstyles, armor, and weapons, reflecting the diverse ranks and roles within the ancient Chinese army. When these figures were first uncovered, one of the most breathtaking features was their color. The statues had been painted with bright, vibrant pigments, reds, blues, greens, yellows, that made them look almost lifelike. But the colors did not last. As soon as the figures were exposed to air, the pigments began to fade and flake away. The vibrant colors vanished almost overnight, leaving only the pale earthen clay beneath. Scientists quickly realized the paint was incredibly fragile. The pigments mixed with a lacquer base reacted to light, humidity, and temperature changes. The paint's chemistry was unlike anything seen before, delicate and transient. Archaeologists and conservators worked feverishly to save what they could. They experimented with new preservation methods, from carefully controlling the environment of the excavation site to trying chemical treatments that might stabilize the pigments. Yet the challenge remained. The moment the statues meet the open air, their colors begin to disappear. It's a quiet tragedy. The loss of the colors dims the stories that the statues tell, leaving behind silent clay figures. This vanishing act is a reminder of how fragile history can be. The past is not always solid and permanent. It's delicate, and it can slip away like dust if we don't treat it with care. Still, the Terracotta Army's power lies not only in color, but in its craftsmanship. Each statue was assembled from separate parts: arms, legs, torsos, heads, all crafted individually, then joined together. This assembly line approach was remarkable for the time, showing incredible skill and organization. The soldiers' faces were modeled with astonishing detail. No two faces are alike. Some look fierce, others calm or contemplative. Their expressions capture a range of human emotions, frozen in time. Their armor tells stories of rank and duty, while the weapons they once held, swords, spears, crossbows, were real and functional, though now long gone or rusted. The burial complex itself is immense, covering over 20 square miles. It includes not just the army, but also chariots, horses, and other figures, all arranged in pits near the emperor's tomb. However, the tomb remains largely unexplored. Legend says it is protected by traps, and some ancient texts describe rivers of mercury designed to preserve the emperor's body. These dangers have kept archaeologists cautious, preserving the exterior for now while awaiting safer ways to enter. The Terracotta Army is more than an archaeological marvel. It is a symbol of a civilization's artistry, power, and spiritual beliefs. It reflects a deep human desire to remember and to protect what matters, even beyond death. As you imagine these figures standing silently in their pits, think of the hands that made them, the hundreds of artisans who shaped, painted, and assembled these guardians of the emperor. Consider the fleeting nature of their colors, once so vivid, now fading. This fragility invites us to reflect on the nature of memory itself, how we remember, what we preserve, and what inevitably slips away. Despite the fading paint, the Terracotta Army remains alive in our imagination. It calls us to slow down, to observe, and to appreciate the delicate balance between preservation and loss. The soldiers' silence is profound. They tell stories without words, inviting us to listen closely, to sense their presence, and to honor their place in history. The cave fortress of Cropenstein. Tucked away in the quiet hills of the Valtellina region, in Switzerland's serene landscape, there lies a place that at first glance seems like a natural rock formation. But upon closer look, the cave fortress of Cropenstein reveals itself as something far more remarkable. A fortress carved into stone, part natural cave, part human creation, blending seamlessly with the rugged cliffs that guard it. This fortress is a secret kept by the mountains, a place where history and nature intertwine in quiet harmony. Cropenstein has been known for centuries, visible from the nearby valley, yet its true story remained a mystery for a long time. Recent archaeological investigations have begun to shed light on its origins, purpose, and the lives of those who once called it home. Imagine the hands that shaped this fortress, chiseling and carving into the rock, creating spaces for shelter, defense, and perhaps even quiet moments of solitude. The fortress is more than just a cave, it is a hill fort, built atop a rocky outcrop, its walls blending with the stone cliffs that surround it. This natural camouflage made it a perfect refuge, difficult for enemies to spot, and even harder to attack. Dating back to the early 14th century, dendrochronological tests, those that analyze tree rings from timber used in construction, suggest that the fortress was built around the year 1312. This places Cropenstein among the earliest examples of cave castles in Switzerland, where the natural landscape was masterfully adapted for protection. The idea of a cave castle might seem unusual, but in mountainous regions like the Swiss Alps, such fortifications were both practical and ingenious. The fortress provided shelter from harsh weather, offered strategic advantage over the surrounding valleys, and required fewer building materials than traditional castles. Inside Cropenstein, the remnants of timber frames, stone walls, and carved chambers tell stories of daily life in medieval times. The fortress was likely home to a family of some importance, perhaps local rulers or warriors charged with guarding the region. Its strategic location allowed control over important routes that passed through the valley. Travelers, merchants, and armies all would have been keenly aware of this rocky stronghold looming above them. Yet many details about Cropenstein's history remain elusive. The records have been lost to time, leaving archaeologists to piece together clues from the stones themselves. What kinds of people lived here? What challenges did they face? How did they adapt to life in such a rugged environment? Walking through the fortress today, you can feel the weight of centuries. The cool stone walls still hold the echoes of footsteps, voices, and lives long past. The fortress's design reflects a blend of natural formation and human innovation. The caves were expanded, carved into usable rooms and passageways. Wooden beams once held up roofs and floors, creating multiple levels within the rock. It's easy to imagine the daily rhythm of life here, the quiet moments before dawn, the preparation for defense, the soft conversations around a hearth, and the watchful eyes scanning the horizon. Despite its strength, Cropenstein was not immune to the passage of time. Over centuries, it fell into ruin, reclaimed gradually by nature. The stones weathered, timbers rotted, and the fortress faded from memory. But the land remembers, the fortress remains, a silent guardian of stories waiting to be told. Archaeologists working here carefully uncover layers of history, finding artifacts that hint at the lives of its occupants, pottery shards, tools, and remnants of meals shared long ago. These discoveries help paint a picture of a time when life was harsh but full of resilience. A time when people relied on the fortress not just for protection, but as a home, a place to nurture family and community. The fortress is a testament to human ingenuity and adaptation. In a world shaped by nature's challenges, people carved out a place of safety and strength. As evening falls over the Swiss hills, the fortress takes on a new kind of quiet beauty. The fading light touches the stone surfaces, highlighting the textures and contours shaped by centuries. In this moment, you can almost hear the whispers of those who once lived here, their hopes, their struggles, their determination to endure. The cave fortress of Cropenstein reminds us that history is often hidden in plain sight, waiting patiently for those who listen with care. The warrior of Cape Strano. In the quiet hills of the Abruzzo region in Italy, surrounded by gentle landscapes and soft whispers of the past, stands a remarkable statue, the warrior of Cape Strano. This stone figure, carved with careful hands nearly 3 millennia ago, carries the weight of history in its silent gaze. Discovered in 1934 during the simple act of road construction, the statue emerged from the earth, unexpectedly revealing a glimpse into a world long forgotten. The warrior stands tall, over 2 meters in height, carved from a single block of limestone. His presence is commanding, yet serene, as if he has been waiting patiently through the ages for someone to notice. Look closely at his face, shaped with strong, deliberate strokes. His eyes, deep and contemplative, seem to hold secrets of a distant time. His nose is sharp, his lips firm, embodying a quiet strength and dignity that transcends the centuries. Upon his head rests a helmet-like headdress, adorned with horns. These horns might symbolize power, protection, or perhaps a connection to the divine, a visual language lost to us, but understood by those who created him. His armor is intricate, telling stories of a warrior's life, patterns etched into his breastplate, symbols carved carefully around his shoulders and chest, speak of skillful craftsmanship. Though his weapons have long since vanished, the stance of the statue hints at readiness and valor, prepared to defend and protect. Scholars believe the statue was made by the ancient Picani people, a tribe that inhabited this land over 2,600 years ago. The Picani were skilled artisans and fierce warriors, living in a world before the great Roman Empire would rise to dominate Italy. The statue's style is unique, reflecting a culture that valued strength and honor, but also artistic expression. The faint traces of red paint that remain hint at a time when the statue was vibrant with color, bringing the stone figure to life with bold hues. What might this warrior have represented to his people? Perhaps he was a great leader, a champion of his tribe, or a guardian meant to watch over sacred grounds or the tomb of a noble. At the foot of the statue lies an inscription, carved in an ancient script. Though its exact meaning remains debated, many believe it to be a dedication by the sculptor, Aninis, honoring his subject, Nevio Pompeo. If this is true, it would be one of the earliest known artist signatures in human history, a quiet declaration of pride and craftsmanship. Imagine the sculptor's hands, steady and precise, working tirelessly to shape the stone, each chip and carve bringing the figure closer to life. The patience, the focus, and the deep connection between artist and subject, a relationship transcending time. In the peaceful surroundings of Abruzzo, where olive trees sway gently and the air carries the scent of wild flowers, the warrior of Capistrano stands as a testament to the resilience of human memory. His story is one of connection, a bridge from the distant past to the present moment. Though we know little of the man he represents, the statue invites us to imagine his life, his battles, his hopes. Through this figure we glimpse a society that revered its heroes, that immortalized them in stone to ensure they would never be forgotten. As you listen, feel the calm of this ancient place. Imagine the soft rustle of leaves, the distant call of birds, and the warm embrace of the Italian sun on your skin. Allow yourself to be carried gently through time, walking the hills and valleys where the Picani once lived, feeling the heartbeat of a world long gone, but not lost. This statue is more than stone. It is a story carved into the earth, waiting to be told. Let the quiet strength of the warrior of Capistrano guide you into peaceful rest, where history and dreams intertwine softly. Expanding further with calming reflections and gentle descriptions. As the day fades into evening, imagine the quiet life of the people who once inhabited these hills. Their simple homes, built from wood and stone, nestled into the landscape like natural extensions of the earth. The sounds of daily life, soft conversations, the clatter of tools, the laughter of children playing beneath the warm sun. The warrior carved in stone is a silent witness to all of this. He does not speak, but in his stillness, he carries the weight of stories, of battles fought and lives lived. In the long shadows of twilight, the statue takes on a different kind of life, one not of movement, but of memory. The Picani people left few written records, but through their art and artifacts, their spirit endures. Imagine the seasons turning around the statue, the blossoms of spring, the warm summers, the crisp autumns, and the soft snowfall of winter. The wheel that changed history. Long before the sounds of engines filled the air, long before horses pulled carts and wheels rolled across roads, there was a simple yet profound invention, the wheel. This invention quietly changed the course of human history, opening new paths and possibilities that shaped civilizations to come. Our story begins in the tranquil wetlands of Slovenia, in a place called the Ljubljana Marshes. It was here, hidden beneath layers of mud and water, that archaeologists made a remarkable discovery, a wooden wheel, one of the oldest ever found. The wheel lay preserved in the soft, oxygen-poor mud of the marsh for more than 7,000 years. Time had wrapped it gently in its embrace, protecting it from decay, until modern humans uncovered it in 2002. As we imagine that moment, picture the archaeologists carefully brushing away the mud, revealing the ancient wheel in all its simple glory. It was crafted from ashwood, with an oak axle, designed with care and skill by people who lived thousands of years before us. To put this in perspective, the wheel existed long before the Great Pyramids of Egypt were built. It dates back roughly 7,150 years, to a time when humans were just beginning to settle and build communities. Life in those days was very different from ours. The world was mostly wild, vast forests, meandering rivers, and open skies filled with stars. People lived close to nature, learning to survive by hunting, gathering, and eventually farming. In this setting, the wheel was more than just a tool, it was a breakthrough. It allowed people to carry heavier loads with less effort, to travel farther, and to connect with others beyond their immediate surroundings. Imagine a small group of early humans, perhaps a family or a clan, working together to create this wheel. They selected the right tree, carefully cut the wood, and shaped it with primitive tools. Each groove, each curve was made with purpose. They may not have known that their invention would ripple through time, inspiring countless innovations in transport and technology. The Ljubljana Marshes wheel was likely part of a two-wheeled pushcart, one of the earliest known vehicles. This pushcart would have helped transport goods like food, tools, or even building materials, making daily life easier and more efficient. The marshland environment itself played a crucial role in preserving this artifact. The wet, muddy conditions created a natural barrier against oxygen, slowing the decay process that would have otherwise destroyed the wheel. Nearby, archaeologists have also found remnants of pile dwellings, homes built on wooden stilts above the marsh waters. These homes tell us how early humans adapted to their surroundings, building safe and stable shelters in a landscape that could easily flood. Together, the wheel and the dwellings paint a vivid picture of life thousands of years ago, a story of ingenuity, survival, and community. The discovery of the Ljubljana Marshes wheel also challenges previous ideas about where and how the wheel was invented. For a long time, many believed the wheel first appeared in Mesopotamia, but this ancient European wheel shows that wheel technology may have developed independently in different places. As the seasons turn around the marshes, the wheel remains a silent witness to time. Spring brings fresh blooms and gentle rains, summer warms the air and fills the wetlands with life. Autumn leaves fall softly, and winter covers the land with a quiet blanket of snow. Through it all, the wheel rests peacefully, a symbol of human creativity frozen in time. Today, the wheel is displayed carefully in museums, allowing us to marvel at this simple yet revolutionary invention. Its presence reminds us that great changes often start small. The wheel teaches us about progress, about how one idea can move a society forward. As you listen to this story, imagine yourself walking softly through the Slovenian marshes, feeling the cool, moist air on your skin. Hear the distant calls of birds and the gentle lapping of water against wooden stilts. Let the calm rhythm of nature and history soothe your thoughts. The wheel, once a vital tool, now invites you to slow down and rest. Its quiet story blends with the stillness of the marsh, creating a peaceful space where past and present meet. Let this gentle tale carry you into a restful state, where ideas and dreams turn slowly, like the wheel itself. The asphalt skull of the Judean desert. In the vast, sun-baked expanse of the Judean desert, where the earth stretches endlessly beneath the sky, and the wind carries whispers from ancient times, there rests a secret, a silent story preserved in stone and shadow. This is the story of an extraordinary discovery, the asphalt skull. More than 9,000 years ago, a group of early humans known as the Natufians lived in this harsh but beautiful landscape. They were among the first to settle down, moving beyond nomadic hunting and gathering, beginning the slow, careful journey toward civilization. The Natufians were thoughtful people, deeply connected to their environment and to each other. They developed complex social structures, and they began practicing rituals that honored their ancestors in ways we still seek to understand. One such ritual was revealed to us through a remarkable find deep inside a cave called Nahal Hemar. Here, archaeologists uncovered a human skull, coated carefully in asphalt, a natural sticky substance oozing from the earth. This was no ordinary skull. The black coating was applied meticulously, creating a thin, protective layer that preserved the bone beneath. Delicate threads of asphalt were woven across the surface, forming an intricate mesh that looks almost like a fine fabric or net. As you imagine this, picture the careful hands of the Natufians working patiently to coat the skull, weaving these tiny strands with reverence and skill. The purpose of this ritual may never be fully known, but scholars believe it was part of ancestor worship, a way to honor and remember those who came before, to keep their spirits close. The coated skull was not merely a relic but a symbol, a bridge between the living and the dead, a token of respect and connection. It is fascinating to think about how the Natufians might have viewed death and remembrance. Unlike us, who often keep photos or letters, they kept the very bones of their loved ones, transforming them through ritual into sacred objects. The use of asphalt may have also served a practical purpose, protecting the fragile skull from the harsh desert conditions, slowing its decay, and ensuring it could last through the ages. This natural preservative helped carry the memory of a person across millennia, allowing us to glimpse a small part of their world. Around the skull, archaeologists found other artifacts, beads, tools, and painted items, suggesting the site was a ceremonial place, a sanctuary for the living and the dead. The Nahal Himar cave was a center for ritual activity, a place where the Natufians expressed their beliefs about life, death, and the afterlife. Imagine the soft flicker of a fire inside the cave, casting dancing shadows on the walls. The quiet murmur of voices, the gentle rustling of fabric, the sacred moments of a ceremony honoring ancestors. Now, let your mind wander across the rugged terrain of the Judean desert. Feel the warm sun on your skin, the dry breeze brushing softly against your face. The landscape is harsh but stunning, dotted with rocky cliffs, sparse vegetation, and endless skies. The Natufians lived in harmony with this land, learning its rhythms and secrets. They gathered wild grains, hunted small game, and built simple shelters. Life was not easy, but it was rich with meaning. The discovery of the asphalt skull reminds us of the deep human need to remember and connect, to honor those who shaped our existence. It is a quiet testament to the power of ritual and belief, and to the enduring bond between past and present. As the day fades into twilight, the skull becomes a symbol of timelessness, of memory that endures beyond flesh and bone. In the stillness of the desert night, beneath a sky filled with stars, the story of the Natufians softly unfolds. The skull, wrapped in asphalt and history, invites us to slow down, to breathe deeply, and to rest. It carries the quiet wisdom of ages, soothing our minds as we drift toward sleep. Through this ancient artifact, we are reminded that even in the harshest places, humanity finds ways to care, to remember, and to create meaning. Additional calming reflections and immersive details to fill the time. Picture the cave where the skull was found, cool and dark, sheltering generations of human life. Imagine the Natufians living in small communities nearby, sharing stories by firelight, crafting tools and ornaments, caring for their families. Their lives were intertwined with the cycles of nature, the rise and fall of seasons, the migration of animals, the flow of water through the desert. The rituals they performed were ways to understand their place in this world, to find comfort and connection in the face of mortality. The coated skull is a window into their beliefs, a symbol of respect, a vessel for memory, a bridge to what lies beyond. Think about the skill it took to collect and apply the asphalt, to weave those delicate threads across the bone. This was not hasty work, but a careful, deliberate act of reverence. In this way, the Natufians showed a profound awareness of life's fragility and the importance of honoring those who had passed. The asphalt skull, resting quietly in its museum today, invites us to slow our own pace, to consider the long arc of human history, to find peace in the knowledge that we are part of a much larger story. The flesh-eating tombs of Assos. Nestled in the gentle hills of ancient Turkey, near the shimmering blue of the Aegean Sea, lies the quiet town of Assos, a place where history rests deeply beneath the soil, quietly holding secrets that span millennia. Among these secrets, some are well known, others are shrouded in mystery and wonder. Today we explore one of the strangest, the flesh-eating tombs of Assos. These tombs, carved carefully from stone by hands long gone, possess a curious and unsettling power, an ability to dissolve the bodies placed inside them, much faster than natural decay would allow. While normally a body buried in soil might take many decades, or even centuries to decompose fully, the tombs of Assos seem to hasten this process dramatically. In fewer than 50 days, the flesh and bones of those buried there vanish, as if consumed by an unseen force. Scientists and archaeologists have been fascinated by this phenomenon for decades. Some have suggested that the stone of the tombs contains unusually high amounts of aluminum or other minerals that chemically accelerate the breakdown of human remains. Others propose that unique bacteria or microbes, thriving in the tomb's environment, might be responsible for this rapid decomposition. Despite the many theories and ongoing research, the true cause remains a mystery. The flesh-eating tombs continue to baffle and intrigue, standing as silent witnesses to the unknown. As we picture the landscape surrounding Assos, imagine the rolling hills covered in ancient olive groves, their leaves rustling softly in the warm Mediterranean breeze. The sun casts a golden glow over the weathered ruins of temples, homes, and marketplaces, illuminating the rich history etched into every stone. This was a place where people lived their lives fully, tending to their families and fields, celebrating festivals, and preparing for the inevitable passage into the world beyond. Burial, across cultures and ages, is a sacred ritual, a bridge between the living and the dead. In Assos, the people called these unique tombs sarcophagos, a Greek word meaning flesh-eater, a name inspired by the astonishing rate at which the tombs seem to consume the bodies within. This name carries with it a sense of awe, reverence, and perhaps even fear. Imagine the skilled artisans who carved these tombs, their hands steady as they shaped the stone to hold and honor the dead. They understood that these tombs possessed special qualities. Perhaps they viewed the rapid decay not as destruction but as transformation, a sacred release of the spirit from the body. This perspective is echoed throughout ancient civilizations, where death is often seen not as an end but as a journey. From the Egyptians to the Greeks and Etruscans, cultures devised rituals to honor the dead and prepare souls for the afterlife. The flesh-eating tombs stand as a testament to the mysteries that remain hidden even in the most well-studied places. As night falls over Assos, stars begin to twinkle in the clear sky above, casting their gentle light on the tombs below. They sit quietly, their secrets folded deep within their stone walls, inviting us to ponder the fragility of life and the enigma of death. walking softly through the olive groves and hills at dusk. Feel the cool earth beneath your feet, the scent of wild herbs carried on the breeze, and the distant call of night birds settling in for the evening. This tranquil scene connects us to the rhythms of nature that have persisted here for thousands of years, rhythms that the people of Assos lived by and respected deeply. Life in ancient Assos was both simple and profound. Families gathered olives, tended crops, and shared stories by firelight. They worshipped gods and spirits, seeking comfort and guidance. Death was not feared but honored, and the tombs reflect that deep respect. The rapid decomposition within these tombs may have been seen as part of a natural, even holy process, a swift passage allowing the soul to move on quickly, leaving the body behind. Reflect on the fact that despite modern science and technology, we still do not fully understand these tombs. Their mystery endures, reminding us that some secrets are beyond our reach, some truths wrapped in the delicate fabric of time and tradition. The flesh-eating tombs of Assos invite us to slow down, to listen, and to marvel at the wonders of history. Their story is a quiet lullaby, a gentle whisper from the past that soothes the mind and eases the spirit. As you settle into the calmness of this tale, allow yourself to drift, as if cradled by the soft winds and timeless hills of Assos, toward a place of rest and peace. The Disc of Death from Teotihuacan, Mexico. In the heart of ancient Mexico, beneath skies that once watched over mighty civilizations, lies the enigmatic city of Teotihuacan. This sprawling metropolis, built thousands of years ago, was once the center of culture, religion, and power in Mesoamerica. Though much of its story remains hidden, artifacts uncovered here speak to us across the ages, silent messages carved in stone and clay. One such artifact, known as the Disc of Death, is both fascinating and mysterious. It invites us to explore its meaning slowly and thoughtfully, in the calm of night. The Disc of Death was discovered in 1964 near the Pyramid of the Sun, one of Teotihuacan's grandest and most sacred structures. This disc, roughly 2,000 years old, is crafted from stone and decorated with a striking image at its center, a skull with a protruding tongue, surrounded by a wheel-like design that resembles the rays of the sun. As you imagine the disc in your mind's eye, notice the details. The skull, its teeth clenched, seems both intimidating and symbolic. Its tongue extends outward, as if caught mid-speech or mid-gesture. Around it, the circular pattern radiates outward, like light spilling from a hidden source. This contrast between life and death, light and shadow, invites endless questions. We know that the disc belonged to the Teotihuacan civilization, a culture whose origins are still debated by historians and archaeologists. Despite the uncertainties, we do know that Teotihuacan was a place of profound religious significance. The Pyramid of the Sun itself was a center of worship, possibly dedicated to a sun deity, or perhaps to the forces of creation and destruction. The Disc of Death is believed to hold ceremonial or religious importance. It may represent the god of death, Mictlantecuhtli, a figure from later Aztec mythology who embodies both the end of life and the promise of transformation. Around the pyramid, many burial sites have been found, suggesting that sacrifice and rituals involving death were practiced here, weaving together life and death in a continuous cycle. Imagine the artisans who crafted this disc. With great care, they chipped and carved the stone, embedding meanings known only to those within their society. Perhaps the Disc of Death was used in sacred ceremonies, passed from priest to priest, a powerful symbol of mortality and the mysteries beyond. Now picture yourself standing at the foot of the Pyramid of the Sun as dawn breaks over the valley. The warm light spills across the desert landscape, illuminating the ancient stone structures and the vast city that once bustled with life. The disc, once buried beneath layers of earth, waits patiently to be rediscovered, a reminder of the complex relationship humans have always had with death. Death, though often feared, was also revered by ancient cultures. It was seen not as an end, but as a transformation, a passage to another existence. The Disc of Death encapsulates this paradox, a symbol both terrifying and sacred, a reminder of life's fragility and the eternal cycle of renewal. As you breathe slowly and deeply, imagine the sounds of Teotihuacan in its prime, footsteps echoing on stone plazas, the distant murmur of prayers and chants, the rustle of robes in a gentle breeze. Life moved rhythmically here, intertwined with the ever-present awareness of mortality. In the quiet of the night, the Disc of Death seems to whisper to us, urging us to contemplate our place in the grand tapestry of time. It encourages reflection on the cycles of life and death, light and darkness, creation and destruction. The mystery of the disc also reminds us of the limits of our knowledge. Though archaeology offers glimpses into the past, some meanings are lost to time. We can only imagine the stories once told around this disc, the prayers said, the hopes and fears it symbolized. Allow your mind to wander gently through the ancient city, to the temples and tombs, to the places where life and death met in sacred ceremony. Let the rhythm of the story guide you slowly toward calmness. Consider the artistry and devotion poured into this simple yet profound object. The Disk of Death is not just a relic, it is a bridge between worlds, a connection to ancestors long gone but not forgotten. As you settle into this story, let the gentle cadence of history and mystery lull your thoughts. The Disk of Death stands as a testament to the human desire to understand the unknown, to find meaning in the face of mortality. With each breath, feel the weight of time lighten, replaced by a peaceful curiosity. The Disk story is one of endings and beginnings, of shadows and light intertwined. The Spiral Galaxy Map of Disco Colgant. Deep in the folds of human history, scattered across the globe, are objects that puzzle us, artifacts that seem to challenge everything we think we know about our ancestors. One such enigmatic object is the Disco Colgant, sometimes called the Spiral Galaxy Map. This small, round stone disc has captivated the imagination of researchers and dreamers alike, inviting us to pause, wonder, and slowly trace the paths of ancient knowledge. The disc itself is roughly 2,000 years old, although some believe it might be even older. It's made of a smooth, dark stone, polished to a gentle shine that catches the light in soft glimmers. At its center sits a raised sphere, a ball-shaped form surrounded by spiraling arms curling outward, resembling the graceful arms of a spiral galaxy. The design is remarkably similar to images of the Milky Way, the vast galaxy that holds our own solar system. Imagine for a moment the incredible mystery this presents. How could people living thousands of years ago have had the knowledge or the imagination to create such a map? The idea of a galaxy, a swirling, spiraling mass of stars and cosmic matter, is something modern astronomy only fully grasped in the last century. Yet here is this disk, quietly bearing a design that mirrors this celestial form. Some believe the disk was a form of ancient star chart, a guide to the cosmos passed down through generations. Others think it might have been a symbolic representation, a sacred image embodying creation, eternity, or the cycles of the universe. As you imagine the disk resting in the hands of those long ago, picture the awe it must have inspired. A map not just of places on Earth, but of the vast heavens stretching infinitely above. The disk's smooth surface invites your fingertips to trace its spiraling arms slowly, as if following the paths of distant stars. The disk was discovered in a cave in Kang, Indonesia, a place sometimes called the Devil's Hill, or Mount of Spirits. This rugged landscape, cloaked in mist and forest, holds many secrets carved into stone and whispered by the wind. The cave where the disk was found is surrounded by legends, stories of ancient people who may have looked to the skies and dreamed of the cosmos as we do today. Though the disk's true purpose remains a mystery, its design speaks a universal language, one of wonder and curiosity, an eternal human desire to understand the vastness beyond. Imagine standing in that cave, the air cool and still, the only sounds the quiet drip of water and the distant rustle of leaves. The disk lies before you, its patterns glowing softly in your mind's eye, connecting the past to the stars overhead. Ancient peoples around the world have always gazed upward, watching the stars move across the sky, marking the seasons, guiding their journeys, and inspiring their stories. The Disco Colgant seems to be a profound symbol of this cosmic connection, reminding us that we are part of a much larger universe. The spiral arms of the disk curl outward endlessly, much like the galaxy they resemble, vast, majestic, and mysterious. Each curve and line could represent paths of stars, cosmic cycles, or the flow of time itself. The smooth hole near one of the arms, positioned roughly where our own sun would sit in the Milky Way, adds to the intrigue. Could this indicate a specific place, a home, or a point of origin? Or is it simply an artistic choice, inviting interpretation and wonder? Science and logic tell us that such detailed galactic knowledge should have been impossible for the people of that time and place. Yet the disk challenges these assumptions, encouraging us to open our minds and consider possibilities beyond the conventional. Who might have created this disk? Was it the work of an ancient astronomer, a visionary artist, or a priest interpreting the heavens? Perhaps it belonged to a long-forgotten civilization that looked up at the night sky with the same awe we feel today. As night falls and stars begin to twinkle above, let your thoughts drift gently toward the cosmos. Imagine the slow turning of galaxies, the birth of stars, and the dance of planets, all reflected in the simple yet profound design of the Disco Colgant. Feel the calmness of this moment, the quiet connection between earth and sky, past and present. Let the spiral arms guide your breath, slow and steady, like the gentle rotation of a galaxy spinning silently in the vastness of space. The disk reminds us that mysteries endure, and that our journey of discovery is never-ending. It encourages patience, curiosity, and a sense of peace with the unknown. As you settle into this story, allow yourself to feel the wonder of the universe, the grand and the small, the ancient and the timeless, all intertwined in this humble stone disk. The Spiral Galaxy Map of Disco Colgant stands as a symbol of humanity's eternal quest to understand our place in the cosmos. Its spiraling beauty invites us to gaze upward, to dream, and to rest in the vastness of the night. The Pit of Bones in Atapuerca, Spain. In the gentle hills of northern Spain, where the landscape rolls softly beneath a wide open sky, there is a place where time itself seems to pause. Here, in the Sierra de Atapuerca, a network of caves hides some of the oldest traces of human history in Europe. Among these caves, one holds a secret that whispers quietly through the ages: the Pit of Bones. The Pit of Bones, or Cima de los Huesos as it's known in Spanish, is more than just a burial site. It is a sacred space where the lives, deaths, and memories of some of our earliest ancestors are preserved beneath layers of earth and stone. This deep, narrow shaft, filled with the remains of at least 28 ancient humans, has fascinated archaeologists and historians since its discovery. It offers a window into a distant past, a time hundreds of thousands of years ago, when the world was a very different place. Imagine yourself standing at the edge of this deep pit, gazing down into the cool, shadowed depths. The walls of the shaft are rough and jagged, carved by nature's slow hand over millennia. The air feels cooler here, damp with the breath of the earth itself. Inside lies a collection of bones, scattered yet strangely arranged, remnants of a long-lost community. These bones belong to Homo heidelbergensis, a species that lived around 400,000 years ago. They were early humans, predecessors to both Neanderthals and modern Homo sapiens. They walked this earth in an era when the climate was shifting, forests giving way to open plains, and ice sheets advanced and retreated with the passing of the Ice Age. The discovery of the Pit of Bones challenged many long-held assumptions about prehistoric humans. The way these bones were found suggests intentional burial, perhaps one of the earliest examples of ritual behavior in human history. This act of gathering and placing the dead in a common pit speaks to a profound sense of community, respect, and even grief. Imagine the lives of these people, the sounds of their footsteps echoing in caves, the crackling of firelight flickering on stone walls, the soft murmur of voices sharing stories and comfort. They lived in a world where survival required strength, skill, and cooperation. Hunting large animals, gathering plants, making tools, all were daily necessities in a landscape filled with dangers and wonders. Think about the care it would take to bring the dead to this pit, to place each body carefully inside, to protect them even in death. This gesture marks an early understanding of mortality, a recognition that death was part of life's cycle and deserving of honor. Scientists have studied these bones with great care, uncovering traces of injuries healed, signs of disease, and marks left by tools. These details reveal not just the hardships they faced, but also moments of compassion, individuals cared for by others, even as the cold and uncertainty of the Ice Age pressed in. The Pit of Bones is also a treasure trove of ancient tools and animal remains. Flint blades, scrapers, and butchered bones tell stories of survival, skill, and adaptation. The inhabitants of Atapuerca were resourceful, learning to thrive in a world that was sometimes harsh and unforgiving. The caves themselves, carved by water and time, create a hauntingly beautiful landscape. Stalactites hang from the ceilings, dripping slowly, while shadows stretch and dance in the dim light. The atmosphere is thick with history, a place where the past is almost tangible. Picture the world outside these caves, vast forests filled with towering trees, rivers winding through valleys, and the distant call of wild animals. Seasons turned with quiet rhythm, bringing cold winters and warm summers, shaping the lives of those who lived here. The Pit of Bones connects us to the slow, steady march of evolution and culture. It shows us that even in the earliest days, humans cared deeply for one another. It reminds us that the roots of empathy, ritual, and community run far back in our shared history. As you settle deeper into this story, let the gentle silence of the cave surround you. Feel the coolness of the stone, the soft pulse of time itself, and the presence of countless lives once lived. Let your breathing slow, matching the steady heartbeat of the earth beneath you. The bones whisper tales of endurance and connection. They speak of a species learning not only how to survive, but how to live with meaning and care. Their story is woven into the fabric of humanity, a thread that links past and present. Imagine the quiet moments, a child's laughter, a hunter's cautious step, a family's tender goodbye. The Pit of Bones holds these moments in stillness, waiting for us to listen. As darkness falls over the hills, stars begin to emerge in the clear night sky. The same stars that watched over these early humans shine down gently, connecting us across time and space. Let your mind drift with the stars, feeling the calm and peace that comes with understanding your place in a vast and wondrous universe. The Pit of Bones is more than a collection of ancient remains. It is a testament to life's resilience, to the power of memory, and to the quiet strength found in community. The mummified lung of Arnegunde, France. In the quiet fields of northern France, beneath the soil of an ancient burial site, lies a discovery that challenges our understanding of history and preservation. the mummified lung of Arnegunde is one of those rare artifacts that offers a unique glimpse into the distant past, not just through bones or pottery, but through something far more fragile and unexpected: preserved soft tissue. The story begins in the 6th century, in the time of the Merovingian dynasty, when Europe was a patchwork of kingdoms, ruled by early Frankish kings. Among these rulers was a woman named Arnegunde, a queen whose life and death have been pieced together through archaeology and history. Her burial site was unearthed in the 20th century, near the village of Saint Denis, revealing a tomb filled with rich artifacts and, surprisingly, a remarkably preserved lung. Soft tissues almost never survive for such long periods. Usually only bones and teeth endure the passage of centuries. Yet here, in the damp, clay-rich soil of northern France, the conditions were just right to preserve this delicate organ. The lung, carefully studied by researchers, remained intact, allowing a detailed examination of a moment frozen in time. Imagine the complexity of this preservation, the chemical and environmental balance that kept the lung from decaying, the way the soil's minerals slowly replaced parts of the tissue, creating a natural mummification process. It is a rare window into the past, offering information about Arnegunde's health, her lifestyle, and even the diseases she might have suffered. This discovery raises many fascinating questions. What was the cause of Arnegunde's death? Could we learn about her life through this preserved organ? Scientists analyzed the lung, looking for signs of infection, pollution, or injury. Some believe the mummification might have occurred due to a lung disease that caused the organ to harden and resist decay. The Merovingian period itself is shrouded in mystery and legend. Kings and queens ruled with a mix of old traditions and emerging medieval customs. Burial practices varied greatly, but Arnegunde's tomb was notable for its richness, indicating her high status. Alongside the lung, archaeologists found jewelry, weapons, and other grave goods that paint a picture of the era's culture and craftsmanship. As you imagine the burial chamber, think of the rituals performed to honor the dead, the careful placement of the body, the offerings left behind, and the symbolism woven into the artifacts all speak of beliefs about death and the afterlife. The preservation of the lung adds a startling layer to this story, a part of the person still physically present after more than a millennium. Scientists have used modern technology, including CT scans and microscopic analysis, to study the lung in detail. These tools allow researchers to look inside without damaging the fragile tissue. Through this, they can detect abnormalities and gather clues about Arnegunde's final days. The mummified lung also opens discussions about ancient healthcare and environmental conditions. What kinds of illnesses were common during that time? How did people live and breathe in a world without modern medicine? The lung, as a biological record, offers subtle hints about the air quality, living conditions, and even the diet of those who lived centuries ago. Beyond its scientific importance, the lung is a powerful reminder of human fragility and resilience. It connects us across time, a tangible link between a woman who lived long ago and those who study her remains today. It challenges us to think differently about preservation and the traces we leave behind. The discovery also reflects the dedication and skill of archaeologists and conservators who work patiently to uncover and protect such delicate finds. Their careful methods ensure that future generations can learn from these ancient remnants. Arnegunde's mummified lung, preserved against all odds, invites us to reconsider what is possible in the study of history. It pushes the boundaries of archaeology, combining biology, chemistry, and history in a fascinating blend. As you reflect on this extraordinary artifact, consider the many lives that have passed through time, each leaving fragments that tell stories waiting to be discovered. The lung reminds us that history is not just in grand monuments or written texts, but also in the smallest, most unexpected places. The study of Arnegunde's lung continues to inspire new research and debates. Scholars discuss whether similar preservation might be found elsewhere, and what this could mean for understanding ancient diseases and lifestyles. This rare glimpse into the past expands our knowledge of the Merovingian era, illuminating the complex relationship between humans and their environment, between life and death. In the end, the mummified lung is more than a scientific curiosity. It is a testament to the intricate dance of nature, time, and human history. It shows us how much we can learn when we look closely, with patience and respect, at the traces left behind by those who came before us. The giant teeth of Eppelsheim, Germany. Deep beneath the fertile soils of southwestern Germany, near the quiet town of Eppelsheim, a discovery was made that sent ripples through the scientific community. Fossils uncovered here included enormous teeth, unlike anything commonly found in the region. These giant teeth hold secrets from a time long before humans walked the earth. A window into a prehistoric world teeming with life, mystery, and transformation. Imagine the landscape of Eppelsheim millions of years ago, a vastly different world where lush forests, wide rivers, and open plains stretched endlessly. The climate was warmer, and the animals that roamed were giants compared to many species we know today. It was an era filled with creatures both familiar and strange, some of which have left only fragmented remains behind, teasing us with questions and wonder. The giant teeth found at Eppelsheim belonged to ancient proboscideans, the prehistoric relatives of modern elephants. These teeth are remarkable not only for their size but for their unusual shape and composition, indicating species that are rare or even previously unknown. Their discovery helps scientists reconstruct the diversity and evolution of early elephants, as well as the ecosystems they inhabited. Picture a single tooth, worn by time but still massive, its ridges and grooves telling stories of diet and survival. These teeth were tools, designed for grinding tough vegetation, breaking down fibrous plants, and sustaining creatures that weighed several tons. They reveal the challenges of life in the Miocene epoch, a period roughly 20 million years ago when mammals were diversifying rapidly. The fossils of Eppelsheim have been studied since the 19th century, but even now they continue to surprise us. The giant teeth suggest the presence of elephant-like animals that were larger than many of their contemporaries, indicating a complex web of prehistoric fauna. These discoveries have shifted scientific understanding of how and where these animals lived, and how they adapted to changing environments. Imagine the painstaking work of paleontologists carefully excavating these fossils, brushing away centuries of sediment to reveal the ancient past. Each tooth, fragment of bone or tusk, is a piece of a vast puzzle, revealing a snapshot of life in an era when the Earth was young in geological terms. The giant teeth of Eppelsheim also invite us to think about the slow rhythms of evolution, how species grow, change, and sometimes vanish. These teeth belong to creatures that thrived in a world very different from ours, shaped by shifting climates, rising mountains, and the dance of continents. Over millions of years, the descendants of these creatures would evolve into the elephants we recognize today, but the fossils remind us of a time when the Earth was wild and full of giants. The study of these teeth has also helped scientists understand more about ancient diets. By examining wear patterns and microscopic traces, researchers can infer what kinds of plants these creatures ate and how they processed their food. This information helps build a picture of prehistoric ecosystems, the plants, animals, and climates that interacted in delicate balance. As you imagine these ancient giants grazing among primeval forests, picture the soundscape of their world, the rustle of leaves, distant calls of other creatures, and the steady crunch of giant teeth breaking down tough vegetation. These sounds, though lost to time, are echoed faintly in the fossils we find today. The giant teeth are more than just evidence of large animals. They tell stories of survival against the odds, adaptation to shifting landscapes, and the relentless passage of time. They remind us of the vast scales of geological and biological change and the intricate connections between life and Earth. In the quiet museums and labs where these fossils rest now, scientists continue to study and debate their meaning. Each new technique, from CT scanning to isotopic analysis, opens new doors to understanding the past. The teeth from Eppelsheim have become a focal point for research into prehistoric life, sparking questions about migration, climate change, and extinction. Beyond their scientific value, these giant teeth inspire awe and imagination. They connect us to a world so ancient and alien, yet so deeply connected to the present. The animals that bore these teeth roamed a landscape that would one day become our home, their stories etched in stone. As you listen, allow your thoughts to wander back millions of years, to the vast plains and forests of the Miocene epoch. Picture the slow, majestic movements of these creatures as they navigated their environment, each tooth playing a crucial role in their survival. The giant teeth of Eppelsheim are silent witnesses to a deep and rich history, a time when giants ruled the earth. They remind us that beneath the surface of the world lie countless stories, waiting patiently to be discovered. Through these fossils, we glimpse the incredible journey of life, from the distant past to the present. The teeth speak of change, endurance, and the endless wonder of the natural world. And so the story of Eppelsheim's giant teeth continues, unfolding slowly with each new discovery, inviting us to explore, learn, and marvel at the ancient giants who once walked the earth. The Copper Scroll of Qumran, Dead Sea. In the arid, sun-baked hills near the Dead Sea, where the earth stretches endlessly under a clear blue sky, lies the site of Qumran, a place steeped in mystery and history. It was here, amid ancient caves and desert winds, that one of the most enigmatic artifacts ever discovered was found, the Copper Scroll. Unlike the delicate parchment scrolls famously known from Qumran, this scroll was forged of metal, thin sheets of copper, etched with inscriptions that have puzzled scholars for decades. The story of the Copper Scroll begins in the mid-20th century, as archaeologists explored the caves around Qumran in search of remnants of an ancient community that once thrived here. The Qumran caves had already yielded a treasure trove of ancient manuscripts, the Dead Sea Scrolls, written mostly on parchment and papyrus, containing religious texts, hymns and laws dating back over 2,000 years. But the copper scroll was unlike any of the others. It was a mystery wrapped in metal, resistant to decay, and carrying a message unlike any other. Imagine the careful hands of archaeologists as they unearthed the copper sheets, thin but durable, covered in tightly inscribed Hebrew letters. The copper had corroded over the centuries, but the text was still legible, inviting readers to decipher its contents. The copper scroll reads like a treasure map, listing locations where vast amounts of gold, silver, and other precious items were supposedly hidden across the Judean wilderness. These inscriptions sparked excitement and controversy alike. Was this a literal map, a record of buried treasure belonging to the ancient temple in Jerusalem? Or was it symbolic, a coded message meant to convey deeper spiritual or political meanings? The treasure it describes would be immense, enough to captivate the imagination of adventurers, historians, and scholars for generations. As you listen, picture the rugged terrain described in the scroll, the caves, pits and crevices of the Judean desert, the rocky outcrops where treasure might have been concealed in the chaos of war and upheaval. The scroll references dozens of sites, each with cryptic clues and precise measurements, hinting at caches of gold and silver hidden beneath the sands. Deciphering the copper scroll has been a monumental task. Scholars have wrestled with the ancient Hebrew script, sometimes incomplete or corroded, trying to interpret place names and instructions. The scroll is written in a unique dialect, and some words remain mysterious, leading to countless theories and debates. One of the most fascinating aspects of the copper scroll is its suggestion of real-world connections to historical events, particularly the destruction of the Second Temple by the Romans in 70 CE. Some believe the treasure was hidden to protect it from looters and invaders, while others argue it may represent an idealized or mythical hoard. Imagine the desperate circumstances under which such treasures might have been concealed. A community fleeing invasion, seeking to preserve its sacred wealth for future generations. The copper scroll captures a moment of fear, hope, and faith, frozen in metal and mystery. The site of Qumran itself adds to the intrigue. It was home to a Jewish sect, possibly the Essenes, known for their strict religious practices and dedication to preserving sacred knowledge. Their secluded lifestyle in the desert, their rituals, and their writings all contribute to the rich tapestry surrounding the copper scroll. As archaeologists and historians study the scroll, they also explore the broader context of Qumran's society, its beliefs, conflicts, and ultimate fate. The copper scroll stands as a singular voice from this vanished world, its message echoing across centuries. Some explorers and treasure hunters have ventured into the harsh desert landscape, guided by the copper scroll's clues, searching for the fabled treasure. Yet despite numerous expeditions, none have uncovered the riches described. Whether the treasure ever existed or was symbolic remains an open question. Beyond the search for material wealth, the copper scroll invites us to reflect on the nature of history itself. How much is lost, hidden, or waiting to be found? It challenges us to think about what we value, what we seek, and how stories from the past shape our understanding of identity and legacy. The craftsmanship of the scroll is itself remarkable. Engraving on copper requires skill and patience, suggesting the importance of the message and the care taken to preserve it. The scroll's durability contrasts with the fragile parchments of its neighbors, ensuring its survival through millennia. In modern times, the copper scroll continues to inspire curiosity and wonder. It is housed securely in museums, studied with advanced technology such as high-resolution imaging and digital reconstruction. Each new discovery brings fresh insights and sometimes more questions. The scroll's existence in a harsh desert environment reminds us of the delicate balance between preservation and decay. The copper shielded its secrets from the elements, while the desert's dryness slowed corrosion. It is a testament to human ingenuity and the desire to communicate across time. As you imagine the copper scroll, think of the hands that etched its words, the people who hid their treasures, and the desert winds that have carried their story through the ages. It is a puzzle and a promise, a link between the past and present. The copper scroll's allure lies not just in the treasures it might reveal, but in the journey it invites us to take, a journey of discovery, history, and mystery that continues to unfold. The Iron Age frog burial of Verona, Italy. In the ancient lands of northern Italy, near the historic city of Verona, lies a mysterious burial site that has intrigued archaeologists and historians alike. This is the story of the Iron Age frog burial, an unusual and fascinating discovery that opens a window into the beliefs, rituals, and daily life of people who lived more than 2,000 years ago. Verona, today a city rich in art and history, was once a landscape shaped by the rhythms of nature and early human activity. Long before the grandeur of the Roman Empire, the area was home to Iron Age communities, skilled in metalwork, farming, and the subtle art of life and death. Among the many burials discovered here, one stood out, a grave containing the remains of a person accompanied by an unusual inclusion, a carefully placed frog. Imagine the moment when archaeologists first uncovered this grave. The soil was carefully removed to reveal the skeleton, laid with reverence and care, its final resting place marked by the surrounding artifacts. But it was the presence of the frog preserved alongside the bones that sparked curiosity and speculation. The frog, a small yet symbolically rich creature, was not an accidental companion. In many ancient cultures, animals held spiritual significance, embodying ideas about life, death, and transformation. Frogs, in particular, are often linked to water, fertility, and rebirth, their life cycles mirroring the seasons, the flow of life, and the mysteries beyond. As you listen, picture the burial scene, the earth gently covering the remains, the quiet sanctuary formed by the grave. The placement of the frog alongside the deceased suggests a ritual or belief, perhaps intended to guide the spirit on its journey, or to protect it in the afterlife. The Iron Age itself was a period of profound change and development. People were mastering ironworking techniques, building settlements, and establishing complex social structures. Burial practices varied widely, reflecting diverse beliefs about death and the hereafter. In Verona, these burials offer glimpses into the lives of people who lived close to nature, whose understanding of the world was shaped by observation, myth, and tradition. The frog burial challenges us to think beyond simple explanations, inviting us to explore symbolic meanings and cultural connections. Researchers have studied the burial carefully, analyzing the bones, artifacts, and the frog itself. Was the frog a totem, a charm, or a representation of a deity? Or was it a marker of status, identity, or a personal connection for the deceased? In other parts of Europe and the Mediterranean, frogs appear in art, folklore, and ritual contexts, often associated with healing, transformation, and the cycle of life. The Verona burial fits within this broader pattern, yet remains unique in its specific setting and details. Consider the practical aspects as well. How was the frog preserved in the burial environment? What conditions allowed it to remain intact alongside the human remains? The answers reveal not only ancient practices, but also the science of archaeology and preservation. The artifacts found with the burial, such as pottery, tools, or personal items, paint a richer picture of the individual's life. They speak of daily routines, social roles, and connections to the wider community. As the story unfolds, we see a culture deeply engaged with the natural world, attentive to the symbolism embedded in animals and the cycles of nature. The frog, small yet powerful, embodies themes of renewal, resilience, and the mystery of existence. Imagine the community that laid the person to rest, their hopes and fears, their rituals and beliefs. The burial was a moment of farewell and remembrance, a link between the living and the dead, the past and the future. The Iron Age frog burial is a reminder that archaeology is not just about objects, but about stories of people who lived, loved, and sought meaning in their lives and deaths. As you absorb this tale, think of the layers of history beneath your feet, the echoes of ancient voices, and the enduring connections between humans and the natural world. The frog's presence in the Verona burial is a symbol of that connection, a small yet profound testament to the complexity of ancient belief systems and the human desire to understand life's deepest mysteries. Through this discovery, we glimpse a world where nature and culture intertwined, where death was both an end and a beginning, and where every detail held meaning. The Bronze Age sword found in a graveyard, Germany. Nestled within the rich soils of a German graveyard, buried beneath centuries of earth and silence, lies a discovery that connects us directly to a world of ancient warriors, craft, and ritual. The Bronze Age sword found in this grave is more than just a weapon. It is a symbol of status, skill, and the stories of a people long past from memory but still present through their artifacts. Imagine the graveyard as it might have looked thousands of years ago. This was a place not simply for burial, but for remembrance, where the dead were honored with the objects they held dear in life. The sword, crafted in the Bronze Age, carries the weight of countless hours of labor and knowledge. From the shaping of the bronze alloy to the delicate decoration along its blade and hilt, it reflects a mastery of metallurgy and artistry. The Bronze Age, spanning roughly 3300 to 1200 BCE in Europe, was a time of immense change. Metal tools and weapons revolutionized society, enabling new forms of agriculture, warfare, and social organization. Swords, in particular, were prestigious items, often reserved for elite members of the community. They were not simply tools for battle, but carried symbolic power. As you listen, picture the sword's journey from molten metal poured into molds, cooled and hammered into shape, to the hands of a skilled craftsman who polished and decorated it. The blade gleams, even after thousands of years, a testament to ancient technology and human skill. This particular sword was found carefully placed in a grave, a sign of respect and significance. Grave goods like this speak volumes about the individual buried there. The sword might have belonged to a warrior, a leader, or a person of high status. Its presence suggests a society that valued courage, strength, and the protection of community. The graveyard itself offers clues to the culture and beliefs of the people. Burial customs varied, but often involved positioning the body with objects that held meaning, tools for the afterlife, symbols of power, or items that represented the individual's role in life. The sword's placement might indicate a hope for protection in the next world, or a marker of identity and achievement. Archaeologists have studied this sword and its burial context extensively. Using methods such as X-ray fluorescence and metallurgical analysis, they can determine the composition of the bronze, revealing information about trade networks, resource availability, and technological development. The sword's style and design also help date the artifact and connect it to broader cultural trends. Distinctive features, such as the shape of the blade, the decoration of the hilt, and the length, reflect regional styles and influences. These details place the sword within a network of Bronze Age societies across Europe, linked by trade, warfare, and shared ideas. Consider the life of the person who wielded this sword. They lived in a world where communities were expanding, territories defended, and social hierarchies evolving. Warfare was a reality, but so was cooperation and cultural exchange. The sword was both a weapon and a statement. The discovery of the sword in a graveyard also invites reflection on death and remembrance in the Bronze Age. Burial rituals were complex and varied, often involving ceremonies that bound the living and the dead, maintained social bonds, and expressed beliefs about the afterlife. Imagine the funeral rites, the gathering of family and community, the careful laying of the sword beside the deceased. The sword's presence may have been intended to accompany the person on a journey beyond this life, or to mark their place in society, even in death. Over time, the sword and grave have become silent witnesses to a vanished world. They hold secrets waiting to be uncovered through meticulous research, preservation, and interpretation. Each scratch, patina, and detail tells a part of the story. Modern archaeologists work with delicate tools and advanced technology, scanning, photographing, and analyzing the sword without damaging it. Their efforts allow us to understand not only the artifact itself but also the wider context, the culture, economy, and beliefs of the Bronze Age people. The sword found in this German graveyard is a bridge across time. It connects us to the lives of individuals who experienced joy, conflict, and loss, and whose legacies survive in metal and earth. As you think about this sword, let your imagination travel to the Bronze Age fields and forests, to the clang of metal, the rhythms of daily life, and the rituals of death. This is a story of craftsmanship, identity, and human experience that transcends millennia. The Bronze Age sword is more than an object. It is a narrative of a society in transition, of technological innovation, and of the enduring human desire to be remembered. It stands as a silent guardian, resting beneath the soil, whispering tales of strength and honor, waiting for us to listen and learn. The Viking ship buried in a farm field, Gjelstad, Norway. In the quiet countryside of southeastern Norway, beneath the familiar sweep of fields and the calm of everyday farm life, lies a secret that has been buried for over 1,000 years. This is the story of the Gjelstad Viking ship, an extraordinary discovery that reveals a glimpse into the lives, beliefs, and burial customs of the Vikings, one of history's most fascinating peoples. The Vikings, known for their seafaring skills, exploration, and fierce reputation, were also deeply connected to their land and traditions. Their ships were not only vessels of war and travel, but sacred symbols of power, prestige, and passage between worlds. The Gjelstad ship burial is a testament to this connection, a ship laid to rest on land, holding the remains of someone important, accompanied by stories waiting to be uncovered. Imagine the moment archaeologists first sensed something unusual beneath the soil of a Norwegian farm field. Using ground-penetrating radar, they detected the unmistakable outline of a large Viking ship, resting quietly underground. The discovery sent waves of excitement through the archaeological community, for ship burials are rare and precious windows into the Viking Age. The ship itself, likely built over 1,000 years ago during the late Viking period, measures nearly 20 meters in length. Its curved prow and sturdy construction tell of skilled craftsmanship, a mastery of woodworking and maritime technology that allowed Vikings to traverse vast distances across stormy seas. The practice of burying a ship with its occupant was reserved for high-ranking individuals, chieftains, warriors, or nobles, whose status warranted such an elaborate farewell. The ship was not only a means of transportation, but also a vessel to carry the deceased's spirit into the afterlife, reflecting Viking beliefs about death and the journey beyond. As you listen, picture the ancient ceremony that might have taken place here. The community gathered, mourning and honoring their leader. The ship was dragged onto land, carefully prepared and adorned with belongings, perhaps weapons, treasures, or tools, symbols of the person's life and rank. The burial mound was raised over the ship, covering it with earth and stones, a silent monument blending into the landscape. Over centuries, the mound faded, the ship hidden beneath layers of soil, preserving its secrets. The discovery of the Gjellestad ship was both thrilling and challenging. Unlike some Viking ships found in dry conditions, this ship had suffered from decay and environmental changes, making excavation delicate and urgent. Preservation efforts involve stabilizing the wood and analyzing fragments to piece together the ship's story. Archaeologists have uncovered not just the ship itself, but traces of the burial context, charcoal from funerary fires, remains of wooden structures, and nearby artifacts hinting at a complex ritual space. These findings enrich our understanding of Viking funerary customs and social structures. Gjellestad's location in Norway also adds to its significance. Situated near ancient trade routes and settlements, it reflects the vibrant cultural and economic life of the Viking Age. The ship burial connects this region to wider Viking networks spanning Scandinavia, the British Isles, and beyond. The discovery has inspired a surge of research, with multidisciplinary teams using the latest technology such as 3D scanning, dendrochronology, and chemical analysis to reconstruct the ship and its environment. Each fragment tells a story of construction techniques, materials used, and the environment in which the ship was built and used. The Gjellestad ship reminds us of the Vikings' profound relationship with the sea and their understanding of death as a voyage. Ships were not merely tools, they were sacred vessels carrying souls to new realms, ensuring that the dead traveled with dignity and power. Imagine the peaceful farm field today, quiet under the sun, while beneath the surface lies a relic of an ancient world, an echo of a time when ships were lifelines and burial rituals bound communities together in shared memory and belief. The ship's story is ongoing, as archaeologists continue to unearth and study its remains, revealing insights into Viking shipbuilding, burial customs, and the people who once ruled these lands. It invites us to reflect on the layers of history hidden beneath everyday places, reminding us that even the quietest fields may hold stories of grandeur, mystery, and human connection across time. Through the Gjellestad Viking ship, we glimpse the artistry, faith, and resilience of a people who shaped history, sailing across oceans and securing their legacies in wood, earth, and memory. The Stone Age clothes of Siberia. In the vast frozen expanse of Siberia, where winter's grip holds sway for much of the year, lies a story of survival, ingenuity, and ancient craftsmanship. This is the story of the Stone Age clothes found preserved in ice, a remarkable glimpse into how early humans adapted to some of the harshest conditions on Earth. Imagine the Siberian tundra, a place of endless snow and ice, where temperatures plunge far below freezing and the winds carry a biting chill. For those who lived here thousands of years ago, survival depended on more than just shelter and fire. It required clothing that could protect against cold, wind, and snow, while allowing movement and life to continue. The discovery of Stone Age clothing in Siberia has provided an extraordinary window into these early humans' lives. Unlike many organic materials that decay over time, the frigid Siberian environment acted as a natural freezer, preserving textiles, leather, and fur in astonishing detail. Archaeologists and scientists have found remnants of clothes made from animal skins, fur, and plant fibers, carefully fashioned into garments suited for extreme cold. These items tell us not only about the materials available, but about the techniques and skills of early tailors and artisans. Picture the painstaking work of scraping, tanning, and sewing animal hides, transforming raw materials into protective clothing. Needles fashioned from bone or ivory were used to stitch pieces together with remarkable precision. The clothing reflects a deep understanding of the environment. Thick furs provided insulation, while layered garments allowed for flexibility and warmth. Designs varied depending on season, activity, and social status, revealing a complex relationship between people and their surroundings. In addition to practical function, these clothes may have held symbolic or cultural significance. Patterns, colors, and decorations could express identity, clan affiliation, or spiritual beliefs. The clothes might have been part of rituals or ceremonies, connecting wearers to their ancestors and the natural world. Scientific analysis of the fabrics and sewing techniques has also shed light on the development of human technology. The use of needles, threads, and even complex weaving indicates advanced cognitive skills and cultural transmission. The preservation of these garments also gives insight into the diet, hunting practices, and daily lives of Siberian Stone Age peoples. By identifying the animal species used for clothing, researchers can infer hunting patterns and ecological knowledge. This clothing also highlights the adaptability of humans. Faced with extreme conditions, they innovated solutions that allowed them not only to survive, but to thrive in a challenging landscape. As you listen, imagine the rhythms of life in the Ice Age, the hunt for food, the crafting of tools, the preparation of clothes before winter's onset. These garments were vital to existence, protecting bodies and enabling movement across frozen terrain. The discovery of these clothes also connects us to a shared human story, the universal need for warmth, comfort, and protection, and the creative ways people have met these needs throughout history. The Siberian Ice Age clothing is a testament to human resilience, skill, and the intimate relationship between people and their environment. It reminds us that even in the harshest places, ingenuity and culture flourished. Researchers continue to study these garments with modern techniques, including DNA analysis and microscopic examination, uncovering details about materials, manufacture, and use-wear patterns. These studies enrich our understanding of early human societies and their interactions with nature, technology, and each other. Imagine holding a piece of this ancient clothing, feeling the texture of animal hide worn smooth by time, knowing it once wrapped a person who lived, worked, and dreamed in a frozen world. This discovery bridges millennia, connecting us to the past through threads of survival and creativity. The Stone Age clothes of Siberia are more than relics. They are stories woven into fabric, tales of adaptation and identity that continue to inspire and inform. The mysterious Holy Jar of Jerusalem. In the heart of ancient Jerusalem, a city where history weaves through every stone and corner, archaeologists have uncovered an object that is both simple and puzzling, a pottery jar unlike any other. Known as the Holy Jar, this vessel, marked by carefully made perforations, invites us to reconsider what we know about ancient daily life, craftsmanship, and ritual in one of the world's most storied cities. Imagine the narrow, winding streets of Jerusalem centuries ago, alive with the hum of merchants, artisans, and families. Pottery vessels were everywhere, essential tools for storing water, oils, grains, and countless goods vital to everyday survival. Pottery was the backbone of domestic life, durable, practical, and often beautifully decorated. Yet this particular jar stands apart because of its unusual design, a series of holes punctured with precision across its surface. At first glance, one might assume the jar to be damaged or broken, but careful examination reveals that the holes were intentionally made. The edges of each opening are smooth, suggesting skilled craftsmanship rather than accidental wear. This raises an immediate question: why would anyone purposely create a jar with holes? What purpose could such a vessel serve in the daily life or spiritual practices of Jerusalem's ancient inhabitants? Archaeologists have explored numerous possibilities. One practical theory suggests the jar functioned as a kind of strainer or sieve. In food preparation or winemaking, separating liquids from solids is essential, and a perforated vessel could allow for this while preserving valuable contents. The holes would let liquids pass through, filtering unwanted debris or sediment. Imagine the jar being used in a household kitchen, aiding in preparing meals that nourished families living in the bustling city. But the story likely runs deeper than mere practicality. In a city where daily life was intertwined with faith and ritual, everyday objects often took on symbolic meaning. The jar's holes might have allowed smoke, scents, or offerings to escape during ceremonies or prayers. Perhaps it was designed to hold fragrant herbs or incense, releasing their aroma into sacred spaces. In this way, the jar would have bridged the mundane and the spiritual, serving as a vessel of connection between the earthly and divine. The craftsmanship required to create such a vessel should not be underestimated. Potters of ancient Jerusalem were skilled artisans who balanced form and function, working with clay to create durable yet beautiful containers. Designing a jar with holes would have presented challenges, ensuring the structure remained strong, the holes positioned to serve a purpose, and the overall shape maintained its integrity. This jar is a testament to their creativity and technical skill. Further investigation revealed traces of organic residues inside the jar, giving clues about what it might have contained. Scientific techniques like residue analysis allow archaeologists to detect oils, resins, or fermented liquids. These chemical traces hint at the jar's role, whether in food preparation, storage, or ritual offerings, and enrich our understanding of how ancient people used and valued such objects. The jar also offers a glimpse into the rich tapestry of Jerusalem's cultural life. The city was a crossroads of civilizations. Jews, Romans, Greeks, and others mingled and traded here, bringing their own customs and technologies. It's possible that the jar's unique design reflects influences from other cultures or innovations born of local needs and traditions. Understanding this jar requires piecing together context, the neighborhood where it was found, other artifacts nearby, and historical records of Jerusalem's inhabitants. Each piece contributes to a fuller picture of life in this ancient metropolis, where everyday survival was shaped by faith, community, and the rhythms of urban existence. Archaeologists face the ongoing challenge of interpreting such enigmatic objects. The passage of time, natural decay, and human activity can obscure original meanings. The holy jar's mystery reminds us of the limits of our knowledge and the excitement of discovery. This jar, humble yet intriguing, prompts us to look beyond the obvious and appreciate the complexity of ancient life. It invites questions about technology, belief, and the human need to create objects that serve both practical and symbolic roles. As the excavation continues, researchers are hopeful that further analysis and comparison with similar finds may unravel more of the jar's secrets. Each discovery brings new layers of insight, connecting us to a vibrant world long vanished but never forgotten. The mysterious Holy Jar of Jerusalem stands as a silent witness to a civilization that valued innovation and meaning in even the smallest details. It reminds us that history is a mosaic of countless stories, some clear and others shrouded in mystery, all worthy of exploration. The Bronze Age burial with a gold mask, Bulgaria. In the rolling plains of Bulgaria, where ancient rivers once carved the land and communities flourished millennia ago, a remarkable discovery emerged that reveals the depth of artistry and ritual of Bronze Age peoples. This discovery, a burial containing a gold mask, opens a window into a world both mysterious and magnificent, where death was met with reverence, symbolism, and craftsmanship of the highest order. Picture the landscape as it might have appeared 3,500 years ago. Small settlements dotted the land, built from wood and clay, surrounded by fields and pastures. The people of this time lived in close harmony with the earth, relying on agriculture, hunting, and trade with neighboring tribes. Among these ancient peoples, death was not an end but a passage, a transition to a realm beyond. Burials were carefully prepared affairs, reflecting beliefs about the afterlife, status, and identity. Among the most striking of these burials is one that contained a golden mask, a symbol of power, divinity, or protection. The gold mask itself is a masterpiece of Bronze Age metallurgy. Crafted from thin sheets of gold, shaped and molded to resemble a human face, it is both lifelike and otherworldly. The shimmering gold would have caught the light, creating a glowing visage, a face that bridged the mortal and divine. Such masks are incredibly rare, and their discovery is a testament to the skills of ancient artisans who worked gold with precision and care, long before the advent of modern tools. The mask's fine details, eyes, nose, lips, were carefully hammered and embossed, revealing a sophisticated artistic tradition. The burial site where this mask was found tells us much about the person beneath it. Archaeologists believe this was a high-status individual, perhaps a leader, priest, or warrior, someone whose importance warranted such an elaborate and symbolic grave. Accompanying the mask were other grave goods, finely crafted weapons, pottery, ornaments, and tools, all carefully arranged. These objects were not merely possessions but offerings for the journey after death, meant to provide comfort, status, and protection in the afterlife. The burial mound itself, constructed with earth and stone, would have been a prominent feature in the landscape, visible to the community and serving as a lasting monument to the deceased's life and legacy. As you listen, imagine the ritual that might have taken place, a solemn procession, prayers, and ceremonies performed by those who survived. The mask, placed over the face, would have transformed the dead into an eternal figure, a bridge between worlds, and a symbol of enduring presence. This discovery also raises questions about the beliefs and social structure of Bronze Age Bulgaria. The use of gold, a precious and rare material, indicates wealth and status but also hints at spiritual or religious significance. Gold masks appear in various ancient cultures around the world, often associated with divine kingship or spiritual protection. Their presence in Bulgaria suggests connections or parallel developments in ideas about death and the afterlife. Studying the mask and burial provides insight into the technological achievements of the time. The ability to work gold to such fine detail requires knowledge of metallurgy, tools, and artistic design. It also reflects a society capable of supporting specialized craftsmen and rituals, indicating a complex social hierarchy and cultural richness. Archaeologists use various methods, X-ray analysis, microscopic study, and experimental archaeology to understand how the mask was made and its place in Bronze Age culture. The discovery has inspired further exploration of burial sites in the region, revealing a tapestry of ancient customs and connections across Europe and beyond. As you imagine the golden mask lying silently beneath the earth, consider the person it covered, a leader, a visionary, someone whose memory was preserved in precious metal, a symbol of a culture that valued honor, artistry, and belief. This burial invites us to reflect on the universal human desire to remember, to honor, and to transcend mortality through objects that outlast time itself. The Bronze Age burial with its gold mask is more than an archaeological find. It is a story of humanity's search for meaning, identity, and immortality, told through the hands of ancient artisans and the silent earth that holds their legacy. The Viking comb with rune curse. In the vast rugged landscapes of Scandinavia, where fjords carve deep into the earth and ancient forests stretch far beyond the horizon, the Viking Age unfolded. A time of exploration, fierce battles, and rich cultural traditions. Among the many treasures left behind by these seafaring peoples, some are grand and imposing, ships, weapons, and treasures. Yet sometimes it is the simplest, most personal objects that tell the most intimate stories. One such object is a comb, carved carefully from bone or wood, used daily, yet bearing an unusual and powerful secret. Imagine a small Viking village nestled along a rocky coast, the wind whispering through pine trees, the salty scent of the sea hanging in the air. Here, a Viking man or woman goes about their morning ritual, preparing for the day. Personal grooming is important, hair kept neat, free from tangles, a reflection of respect and readiness. The comb they use is small but finely crafted, smoothed by hand, sturdy enough to last many years. Yet this comb is not just a tool, it is also a talisman. Carved into the comb's surface are runes, ancient characters that served not only as a writing system but also as powerful symbols imbued with magic. Each rune represents a letter, a sound, and a concept, intertwined with spiritual meaning. Vikings believed these runes connected them to the gods, to fate, and to forces beyond the visible world. What makes this comb extraordinary is the inscription it carries, a curse. The runes warn anyone who might dare to steal or misuse the comb, promising misfortune or harm. It is a protective charm, a boundary carved in bone and symbol to guard the owner's possession. This curse is more than superstition, it reveals how deeply intertwined magic and daily life were in Viking culture. The Vikings believed in the power of words and symbols to shape reality, to guard against danger, and to influence the unseen. Picture the careful hands of the carver, etching each rune with precision. Perhaps the comb belonged to a warrior about to embark on a voyage, or a woman preparing for a gathering. The curse was there to protect their personal space and to deter thieves, a silent guardian in the form of script. The comb's craftsmanship reflects the skill and artistry of Viking artisans. Bone, carefully shaped and polished, becomes a canvas for words of power. The comb is functional, yet also a statement of identity and belief. Runes were carved on many objects, swords to give strength, amulets for protection, and even ships to ensure safe passage. This comb's curse fits into this larger tradition, reminding us that Vikings saw magic in everyday things. Archaeologists have studied this comb and others like it by comparing rune inscriptions across sites in Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. Each rune has multiple layers of meaning, phonetic, symbolic, and magical. The language of runes reveals insights into Viking worldviews, the importance of honor, fate, and connection with the divine. The curse on this comb might have been a way to assert control in a world full of uncertainties and dangers. Vikings lived in a time where natural forces, hostile enemies, and the unknown were constant threats. Magic and runes offered a means to protect oneself, to seek favor, and to express identity. The cursed comb is a reminder that personal belongings were not just practical, but sacred. Protecting one's belongings was part of protecting one's self and family. Imagine the comb's journey through time, passed down, lost, and eventually unearthed by modern archaeologists. It connects us across centuries to a person who once lived, loved, and believed in the power of words carved into bone. This artifact teaches us about the complexity of Viking society, where the lines between the practical and the mystical were fluid, and everyday objects bore spiritual weight. The Viking comb with its rune curse is a small but potent testament to the power of belief, the artistry of ancient craftsmen, and the enduring human desire to protect what is ours. It invites us to listen closely to the whispers of the past, to feel the hands that carved those runes, and to understand a world where magic was woven into the fabric of daily life. The Roman skeleton with prosthetic, Italy. In the vast tapestry of history woven across ancient Italy, one discovery stands out not only for its age, but for the story it tells about human resilience and ingenuity. Beneath the layers of Roman civilization, archaeologists unearthed a skeleton, remarkable, not just as a remnant of a past life, but because this individual had worn a prosthetic foot. This finding challenges our assumptions about ancient medicine and reveals a sophisticated understanding of anatomy and care, long before modern technology. Imagine Rome in its prime, bustling streets lined with grand architecture, the sound of chariots rolling over cobblestones, markets alive with the chatter of traders from across the empire, and the distant hum of military drills. In this city of innovation and power, people lived lives rich with complexity and hardship. Injuries were common, wounds from battle, accidents during labor, and illnesses that left lasting scars. Yet, in this world where survival was often precarious, a remarkable story of healing and adaptation unfolded. The skeleton discovered was of a person who had lost a portion of their foot, perhaps due to injury or illness. But rather than succumbing to this loss, They had been fitted with a prosthetic device crafted from bronze and wood, materials that combined durability with flexibility. This artificial foot was not merely decorative or symbolic, it was a functional tool designed to restore mobility and dignity. The craftsmanship of this prosthetic is astonishing. Bronze plates were shaped to mimic the contours of a human foot, attached to wooden elements that allowed for some degree of movement. The device was custom fitted to the wearer, showing an impressive knowledge of anatomy and mechanical principles. Such skill suggests collaboration between physicians, artisans, and possibly the wearer themselves to create a device that could withstand daily use. This find offers us a glimpse into Roman medical practice, revealing that ancient doctors were far more advanced than often assumed. Medical texts from the time, such as those by Galen, describe various treatments and surgeries, and this prosthetic aligns perfectly with a culture dedicated to improving life through science and innovation. Archaeologists examine the skeleton closely, noting signs of healing in the bones surrounding the injury, evidence that the person survived long after losing their foot. The wear patterns on the prosthetic suggest extended use, indicating that the individual learned to adapt and walk with this artificial limb, a testament to human resilience. It is humbling to consider the challenges faced by this person. Learning to walk again with a prosthetic would have required patience, strength, and support from their community. Their experience speaks to a universal human story, overcoming adversity with courage and innovation. The materials chosen for the prosthetic tell us much about Roman craftsmanship. Bronze, valued for its strength and malleability, was skillfully hammered and shaped. Wood, abundant and workable, provided the necessary flexibility. The combination created a device both sturdy and comfortable enough to use daily. This prosthetic also provides insight into social attitudes toward disability in Roman times. The fact that such a device was made suggests that the individual held a status or community role that warranted care and attention. It reflects a society that valued its members and sought to restore function and quality of life. The prosthetic foot is not just a technological marvel, it is a symbol of compassion and humanity. It bridges the ancient world to ours, reminding us that the desire to heal and help transcends time. As the skeleton lay in its tomb, surrounded perhaps by loved ones' offerings and prayers, the prosthetic foot stood as a silent testament to the person's strength, adaptability, and the skill of those who made it. In the centuries since, the discovery of this prosthetic has transformed our understanding of ancient medicine, technology, and social care. It challenges stereotypes of the past as primitive and unfeeling, revealing a civilization deeply engaged with the welfare of its people. The story of the Roman prosthetic invites reflection on the progress of medicine and the enduring spirit of human innovation. It connects us intimately to an individual who lived, struggled, and adapted thousands of years ago. It reminds us that behind every artifact is a story of life, loss, and hope waiting to be heard. This prosthetic foot from ancient Rome is a bridge between past and present, between suffering and healing, between the limits of the human body and the boundless capacity of human creativity. As you imagine this story, picture the bustling streets of Rome, the hands that crafted this device, and the determination of the person who wore it. This connection across millennia enriches our understanding of what it means to be human. The Roman skeleton with prosthetic is more than an archaeological find. It is a story of survival, compassion, and the timeless quest to overcome hardship with dignity. The ancient temple beneath the sea, Mahabalipuram, India. Along the southeastern coast of India, where the Bay of Bengal meets the land in a gentle embrace, lies a place steeped in history and mystery. Mahabalipuram, a town known for its extraordinary stone temples and ancient carvings, holds secrets hidden beneath the waves. There, beneath the sea's surface, rests an ancient temple complex, slowly being reclaimed by the ocean. This temple, carved from solid granite, tells a story not just of human creativity and devotion, but also of nature's unyielding power and the passage of time. Imagine standing on the sun-warmed shore, the air filled with the salty scent of the sea and the rhythmic sound of waves gently crashing against the rocky coastline. Beneath your feet, submerged just below the surface, lies a monument crafted centuries ago by the Pallava dynasty, masters of stone and architects of devotion. These artisans carved intricate sculptures, depictions of gods, animals, and mythical beings, all etched with precision into the very bedrock of the earth. Their work stands testament to a civilization that flourished around the 7th century CE, a time when Mahabalipuram was a bustling port city, a hub of trade, culture, and spiritual life. But how did this magnificent temple come to rest beneath the sea? Theories abound. Some suggest that rising sea levels, gradual and relentless, slowly swallowed parts of the ancient city over centuries. Others point to violent seismic activity, earthquakes, and tsunamis that reshaped the coastline in moments of catastrophic change. Whatever the cause, the ocean's embrace has both concealed and preserved this sacred site, shielding it from human hands while challenging those who seek to uncover its secrets. Underwater, the temple reveals itself in fragments, stepped terraces, carved pillars, and delicate reliefs, all encrusted with marine life and softened by centuries of immersion. The water diffuses light in a way that lends an almost otherworldly glow to the ruins, illuminating the artistry in a silent, blue-hued cathedral. The temple's carvings speak in a language of stone and myth, depicting scenes from Hindu epics, representations of Shiva, Vishnu, and other deities, and motifs symbolizing life, death, and rebirth. Explorers and archaeologists venture beneath the waves, equipped with scuba gear and sophisticated imaging technology. They document the site meticulously, mapping its extent, studying the wear patterns on the stone, and attempting to reconstruct its original grandeur. Each dive reveals new wonders: a fallen pillar here, a weathered statue there, traces of steps leading to sanctuaries now lost to time. These discoveries add pieces to the puzzle of Mahabalipuram's submerged temple, helping scholars understand its construction, function, and fate. The underwater temple is a poignant reminder of the impermanence of human endeavors, yet it also showcases the resilience of art and spirituality. Carved in stone, the temple has endured despite the shifting tides and relentless currents. It invites reflection on the relationship between humanity and nature, how we build and create, only to be humbled by the earth's forces. Mahabalipuram's underwater temple also connects us to the broader history of the region. This area was not just a religious center, but a vital port facilitating exchanges between India, Southeast Asia, and beyond. Ships carrying goods, ideas, and pilgrims passed through its harbors. The temple, both on land and beneath the sea, embodies this rich tapestry of cultural interaction. As the waves continue their eternal rhythm, the temple beneath the sea remains a silent witness. It preserves stories of devotion, artistry, and the rise and fall of civilizations. Its stones, softened by time and sea, invite us to contemplate the mysteries lying just beyond our everyday sight. Visiting Mahabalipuram today, one can admire the grand temples standing proudly on land, marvel at their detailed carvings, and then gaze toward the sea, imagining the hidden wonders beneath the surface. The underwater temple beckons not only archaeologists, but all who seek to connect with the past, reminding us that history is layered, sometimes submerged, and always waiting to be discovered. This ancient temple beneath the sea is more than ruins. It is a bridge between worlds, between earth and water, past and present, human effort and nature's reclaiming. It speaks softly, patiently, inviting us to listen and learn. The 3D map carved into stone, Bedolina, Italy. In the quiet valleys of northern Italy, nestled among rolling hills and ancient landscapes, lies a remarkable artifact that has puzzled historians and archaeologists for decades. The Bedolina map, a large rock surface etched with an intricate series of carvings that many believe represent one of the earliest known topographical maps in human history. This stone, carefully carved thousands of years ago, invites us to peer into the minds of our ancestors and glimpse how they understood and represented their world. Imagine a time long before modern maps, GPS, or satellites. A time when people relied on oral traditions, landmarks, and their own keen observations of nature to navigate and comprehend their surroundings. In this era, the ability to capture and communicate spatial information visually was an extraordinary feat. The Bedolina map, etched into the flat surface of a large rock, achieves just that. It shows a detailed landscape, complete with fields, paths, rivers, and settlements. The rock itself is part of a larger site covered with numerous petroglyphs, symbols, and images carved into stone by the ancient Comuni people who lived in this region during the Late Bronze Age and Early Iron Age. The Comuni were skilled artisans, and their carvings tell stories of daily life, hunting, rituals, and perhaps in the case of the Bedolina map, an early attempt to represent geography and land use. At first glance, the carvings might seem abstract, lines, dots, and shapes arranged across the stone. But upon closer inspection, patterns emerge. Rectangular shapes correspond to cultivated fields, winding lines appear to trace paths or rivers, and clusters of dots may mark settlements or landmarks. It is a three-dimensional story of a landscape carved into two-dimensional stone. Scholars have debated the purpose of this map for years. Was it used for practical navigation, helping villagers find their way across the valley? Was it a ritualistic depiction, a sacred representation of the land that held spiritual significance? Or perhaps it was a communal record, documenting ownership, boundaries, and resources. The craftsmanship required to produce such a map is impressive. The carvers used simple tools to etch the stone, yet their work exhibits a deep understanding of spatial relationships and an ability to abstract the natural world into symbolic form. This map not only provides a window into ancient cartographic practices, but also into the social and economic life of the Comuni people. The fields carved on the rock suggest agricultural activity, while the paths indicate trade or communication routes. Settlements hint at the organization of communities within the landscape. As we imagine this scene, picture a time when the land was central to survival and identity. Knowing one's environment intimately was essential for farming, hunting, and community cohesion. The Bejja map may have helped convey this vital knowledge across generations. The site itself, perched on a hill overlooking the valley, would have been a significant place for the commune. Perhaps it served as a meeting point, a place where decisions about land use and community affairs were made, with the map acting as a visual aid. Studying the Bejja map requires careful analysis. Modern archaeologists use photogrammetry and 3D scanning to capture its details, allowing us to study the carvings without damaging the fragile surface. These technologies reveal subtle features invisible to the naked eye and help preserve the map for future generations. The significance of the Bejja map extends beyond its immediate region. It challenges the notion that ancient people had only a limited understanding of geography and cartography. Instead, it reveals a sophisticated approach to representing space that predates many known maps. The map also speaks to the human desire to make sense of the world, to communicate and share knowledge visually. It is an early example of how symbols and art can serve practical, social, and perhaps spiritual functions. As you reflect on the Bejja map, consider the lives of the people who created it, their relationship with the land, their ingenuity, and the legacy they left etched in stone. This ancient map invites us to connect with a past where geography, art, and community converged in a single remarkable artifact. It reminds us that the impulse to explore, understand, and represent our surroundings is deeply rooted in human history, carried forward from those early carvers on a hillside in Italy to the digital maps we use today. The Nubian Pyramids of Sudan. Far to the south of Egypt, along the banks of the mighty Nile River, in what is now Sudan, stand the Nubian Pyramids, a collection of ancient tombs that tell a fascinating story of a powerful civilization that once thrived in this region. Though less famous than their Egyptian cousins, the Nubian pyramids are remarkable for their unique architecture, rich history, and the mysteries they hold within their stone walls. Imagine the vast Nile Valley stretching out under a warm sun, dotted with these slender pyramids rising sharply against the sky. Unlike the smooth, massive Egyptian pyramids, Nubian pyramids are smaller and steeper, often built with a narrow base and soaring pointed peaks. They were erected as royal tombs by the kings and queens of the Kingdom of Kush, a mighty civilization that ruled for centuries and had its own distinctive culture, language, and art. The Kingdom of Kush was a powerful neighbor and sometimes rival to ancient Egypt. At times, Kushite kings even ruled as pharaohs over Egypt, blending traditions from both lands. Their pyramids, constructed primarily between 800 BCE, reflect this unique fusion of cultures but also stand apart in design and purpose. Archaeologists have uncovered thousands of these pyramids in Nubia, clustered mainly around three main sites: Meroe, Nuri, and El Koru. Meroe, the most famous of these sites, served as the capital of the Kushite kingdom for centuries. Its pyramids, many still standing today, guard the tombs of rulers who held great influence in their time. The process of building these pyramids involved intricate planning and skilled craftsmanship. Unlike the massive labor forces used to build Egyptian pyramids, Nubian pyramids were often smaller but more numerous, creating vast cemeteries of these distinctive stone monuments. Each pyramid was constructed using sandstone blocks, carefully shaped and stacked to create the steep walls. Inside these pyramids lie burial chambers, richly decorated with murals and inscriptions. These paintings depict the life and beliefs of the Kushite people, offering insight into their funerary practices and their understanding of the afterlife. Gods and goddesses familiar from Egyptian mythology appear here, but often with uniquely Nubian interpretations. One fascinating aspect of the Nubian pyramids is the presence of small chapels attached to many of them. These chapels served as places where family members could come to honor their dead with offerings and prayers, ensuring the continued journey of the deceased into the afterlife. The tombs within the pyramids sometimes contain treasures, pottery, jewelry, and even weapons, giving clues about the wealth and power of the individuals buried there. Yet many pyramids have also been looted or damaged over time, making archaeological work both challenging and urgent. Modern archaeologists use advanced technology like ground-penetrating radar, 3D imaging, and satellite surveys to uncover hidden pyramids and explore the vast necropolises spread across the Sudanese desert. Each discovery adds to our understanding of Nubian society, their rulers, and their connections with neighboring cultures. The Nubian pyramids also remind us that history is vast and complex. Often overshadowed by Egypt's grandeur, the Kingdom of Kush and its architectural achievements deserve recognition for their own innovations and cultural richness. As you imagine the sun setting over the Nile, casting long shadows from these ancient stone peaks, Think of the lives of the kings and queens who once walked this land. Their stories, carved into stone and buried beneath the desert sands, continue to inspire awe and curiosity. The Nubian pyramids stand as silent witnesses to a civilization that flourished along one of the world's greatest rivers, a testament to human ambition, creativity, and belief in the afterlife. They invite us to look beyond the familiar, to explore forgotten histories, and to appreciate the diversity of ancient cultures. In their stillness, these pyramids speak softly of kings and queens, of devotion and mystery, and of a world waiting to be rediscovered. The Albrecht Dürer print found in trash. In the midst of our fast-moving modern world, where life unfolds in a blur of noise and haste, history sometimes quietly reveals itself in the most unexpected places. Imagine walking along a dimly lit street in a city, the evening air calm, when you notice something lying discarded among the refuse. A delicate yellowed piece of paper. It looks unassuming at first, but as you pick it up you realize it bears the intricate lines and careful detail of an artwork from centuries ago. This is no ordinary scrap. It is a rare print, created by one of the greatest masters of the Renaissance, Albrecht Dürer. This is the remarkable story of how an invaluable work of art, long lost and nearly forgotten, was found thrown away, almost destined to be lost forever. Albrecht Dürer was born in 1471, in Nuremberg, Germany. He was an extraordinary artist, a man who transformed the world of art in his time and beyond. Dürer's genius lay in his ability to combine the highest technical skill with profound insight into nature, humanity, and spirituality. His woodcuts and engravings are celebrated for their precision, beauty, and complexity. Each line was carved with meticulous care, each shadow drawn to evoke mood and meaning. Holding a Dürer print is like holding a conversation across centuries, one that whispers stories from a time long past, yet still alive through the delicacy of ink and paper. The print found discarded was one such masterpiece. Though faded and fragile after centuries of existence, its delicate lines still tell a vivid story, whether it depicts a biblical scene filled with symbolism, a portrait, or a natural study of animals and plants. Each detail is a testament to the artist's skill and vision. The print's journey from the hand of the master to the trash bin is a tale wrapped in mystery and human neglect, a reflection of history's fragile hold on beauty. Over the centuries, art has traveled through many hands, some careful, others careless. While some masterpieces have been preserved in grand museums or private collections, others have been forgotten, damaged, or lost. Prints are especially vulnerable. Unlike paintings, they can be torn, stained, or discarded without recognition of their value. The reasons for this print's loss are unknown. Perhaps it was part of a neglected collection, mistaken for a simple old paper, or lost in the chaos of changing ownerships and tastes. What is clear is that time had not been kind, and it was only by chance that this treasure was saved from destruction. When experts examined the print, excitement rippled through the art world. Authentication involved careful scientific analysis. The age of the paper was verified through fiber analysis, the inks examined with chemical tests, and the style compared to known Dürer works. These investigations confirmed the print's authenticity and importance. Suddenly, what had seemed a worthless scrap became a priceless artifact, a window into Renaissance genius, resurrected from obscurity. Restoration was delicate and painstaking. Conservators gently cleaned the surface, stabilized the fragile paper, and worked to preserve every line and shadow. Their efforts ensured that this once nearly lost print could be admired and studied for generations to come. The restoration process itself is an art form, an act of respect and care that breathes new life into an ancient treasure. This discovery invites us to reflect on the nature of cultural heritage. How many more works of art, historical documents, and relics lie hidden in attics, basements, or even in the trash? How many stories wait quietly for rediscovery? It reminds us that history is not confined to the halls of museums, but lives among us, often overlooked. The Albrecht Dürer print found in trash also challenges our relationship with art and history. It prompts us to slow down and observe, to appreciate the hidden stories carried by objects around us. This print connects us intimately with a past shaped by human creativity, patience, and passion. It shows that beauty can survive neglect, and that sometimes history reveals itself when we least expect it. As you imagine the faded lines and soft paper texture, picture the artist's hands carving into a copper plate hundreds of years ago, transferring his vision onto paper with a skill that defies time. Feel the quiet reverence held by those who restored this print, preserving its fragile beauty. Through this simple sheet of paper, the spirit of Albrecht Dürer lives on, speaking softly across the centuries, inviting us to marvel at human achievement, resilience, and the power of art. This story is not just about a print, it is about the endurance of culture, the chance moments that bring history back to life, and the joy of rediscovery. It is a gentle reminder that treasures can be found anywhere, even in places we least expect. It encourages us to be curious, to look closely, and to cherish the legacy of those who came before us. In a world that often rushes by, this print asks us to pause, to listen to the quiet stories whispered by time, to honor the hands that created, lost, and found it. It is a symbol of hope, resilience, and the enduring beauty of human expression. The Cave of the 5,000-year-old Skull, Ancient Skull Cave, Discovery 2024. Deep beneath the surface of the earth, hidden away in a remote and shadowed cave, a remarkable discovery was made in the year 2024. This discovery would offer us a silent glimpse into a world long gone, a world where our ancient ancestors lived, loved, and faced the mysteries of their own existence. It was here, deep within the cool, dark recesses of this cave, that archaeologists uncovered a skull, an ancient skull, nearly 5,000 years old. This skull would become a key to unlocking secrets of human history, offering insights into life thousands of years ago. The cave itself had remained undisturbed for millennia, a time capsule preserving traces of the past. Its walls, etched with the slow passage of time, held stories in the form of faint markings and sediment layers. It was in this stillness that the skull was found, resting quietly where it had been placed long ago, perhaps as part of a ritual or simply laid to rest in a forgotten chamber. The discovery was both thrilling and humbling, a fragile human remnant bridging the gap between then and now. As experts carefully examined the skull, they noted its remarkably well-preserved state. Despite the passage of thousands of years, the bone retained the shape of the individual who once lived, a silent witness to a life long extinguished. The skull provided clues not only about the physical characteristics of ancient humans, but also about their health, diet, and even the challenges they faced in their environment. Dating the skull involved meticulous scientific techniques, including radiocarbon dating and analysis of the surrounding sediments. These methods confirmed the skull's age to be approximately 5,000 years, placing it in a time when human societies were transitioning, when agriculture was becoming more common, when communities grew larger, and when rituals around death and ancestry took on new importance. The discovery raised many questions. Who was this individual? What was their life like? What kind of world did they inhabit? Archaeologists pieced together what they could from the skull's features and the artifacts found nearby. Evidence suggested a community that was already developing complex social structures and cultural practices, as seen in burial customs and the positioning of the remains. One of the most intriguing aspects of the find was the possibility of ritual significance. The placement of the skull within the cave hinted that it might have been part of an ancestor veneration practice, a way to honor the dead and maintain a connection with those who came before. This idea resonates deeply with many ancient cultures worldwide, where the dead are not forgotten but remembered through ceremonies and care. As the cave continued to be explored, other finds began to emerge: pottery shards, tools, and remnants of early agricultural life. These artifacts enriched our understanding of the era, painting a picture of a people navigating the challenges of their time with ingenuity and spirit. The skull was a centerpiece of this unfolding story, a human touchstone connecting us directly to those distant ancestors. The discovery also sparked wider interest in the region, encouraging further archaeological surveys and studies. Each new find added layers to the narrative, reminding us that history is not just a collection of facts but a living story, constantly being rewritten with every new discovery. This skull, resting silently for thousands of years, now speaks to us across the ages. It tells of human resilience, the passage of time, and the unbroken thread that connects us to our ancient past. It reminds us that beneath the layers of earth and memory lie stories waiting to be told, stories that enrich our understanding of who we are. As you imagine the cave's quiet darkness, the cool air, and the delicate bones discovered within, you feel a profound connection to the continuity of human life. This ancient skull, once part of a living person's journey, now becomes a symbol of enduring human curiosity and the search for meaning. The cave of the 5,000-year-old skull is more than just an archaeological site. It is a testament to the deep roots of humanity, a whisper of lives long gone, and a promise that the past still has much to reveal to those who listen carefully. Roman lead curse tablets, Bath, England. Although, in the ancient city of Bath, England, known for its hot springs and Roman baths, archaeologists have uncovered a fascinating glimpse into the darker side of Roman life. Lead curse tablets. These small thin sheets of lead, inscribed with carefully etched words, carry stories of human emotion, desperation, and the desire to influence fate through supernatural means. This discovery offers us a window into the personal lives of Romans who lived nearly 2,000 years ago, revealing fears and hopes hidden beneath the grandeur of empire. The lead tablets, often folded or rolled, were not made to be read in public, but to be cast into sacred springs or buried in places believed to be gateways to the spirit world. The very act of writing these curses was an appeal to the gods or spirits, a plea for justice, revenge, or protection. Each tablet captures an intimate moment of someone grappling with betrayal, jealousy, or conflict, feelings as timeless as humanity itself. At Bath, where the mineral-rich waters were thought to have healing powers, these tablets add a mysterious layer to the story of the site. The Romans believed that by depositing these curses in the sacred waters, they could harness divine intervention to affect the lives of their rivals or enemies. It was a quiet and secretive form of magic, rooted in deep belief and personal struggle. The inscriptions are often brief but powerful. They might call upon specific gods or spirits to punish a thief who stole goods, to break a lover's faithfulness, or to prevent someone from winning a legal dispute. The language used is sometimes harsh, reflecting anger and pain, yet it also reveals the cultural practices of a society that sought to control the unpredictable through ritual and faith. These curse tablets were made of lead because of the metal's durability and symbolic weight. The act of inscribing on lead, folding it tightly, and placing it in sacred locations was thought to bind the curse, making it effective. The tablets are often crumpled or pierced with nails, further emphasizing the desire to trap and control the target of the curse. The discovery of these tablets in Bath provides valuable insights into the daily lives of Roman inhabitants beyond the public face of baths, forums, and temples. It reminds us that ancient people, like us, faced complex social dynamics and sought ways to navigate them, sometimes through prayer, sometimes through curses. Archaeologists have carefully preserved these fragile tablets, studying their inscriptions to better understand the beliefs and language of the time. The tablets also shed light on the interactions between Romans and the local populations, revealing how cultural practices blended and evolved. While curse tablets might seem like relics of superstition, they also reflect universal human emotions: fear, hope, frustration, and the need for justice. Through them, we connect with the personal stories of individuals who lived long ago, their voices echoing faintly through the centuries. As you imagine the quiet Roman baths, the steaming waters, and the whispered prayers cast into sacred springs, consider the power these small lead sheets held. They were not just curses but expressions of deeply human desires to influence fate and seek balance in a world that was often uncertain. The Roman lead curse tablets from Bath stand as a testament to the complexity of ancient life. They remind us that history is not only built on grand events but also on the intimate struggles and beliefs of everyday people.